The Fan. The Drive weekdays. The Fan, KFNT FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station. Nobody in Kansas City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City! A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime! Kansas City wins the game!
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very excited to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful bye-week Friday. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we are going to talk college basketball with someone from Sports Illustrated. You might have heard this, but Kansas has a very important game coming up later today against North Carolina. We get a chance to see the potential number one overall pick in next year's NBA draft go on the road and play another blue blood school. Very excited to see that matchup coming up later today. That game, I believe, is going to be on ESPN, a game in which only some of us are going to see, and we will talk about that coming up in a bit. We're going to head to Columbia to be joined by Brandon Kiley. Missouri plays Texas A&M. They have a new quarterback, certainly not by choice. Matt Zollers is going to start for them, the true freshman out of Pennsylvania. We also are going to take a trip to Denver, Colorado to recap their win on Thursday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders. We're actually going to begin today's show talking about the Denver Broncos, but before we do any of that, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. And number three, and most importantly, I need you to remember to stop by and see our friends over at the other place. Maybe you don't have somewhere to watch Kansas against North Carolina. Well, then go stop by the other place. Go get yourself a cold beer, get yourself something to eat, sit down, watch a little basketball. I'm telling you, it will be worthwhile for one of the best early season matchups that we have in the sport. All right. This is something that we have been discussing on this show. This is something that we have been debating on this show for weeks now. I have been asking you guys the question, are the Broncos good? And sometimes I feel it is very easy to just simply hide behind a team's record and say, well, of course they are. They're 8-2. But we watch these games. You guys know football. I know football. We know football together. So I'm asking you for this to really open up your eyes and open up your mind with what you know about the National Football League, what you know about this sport, and what you've seen. Do you think the Broncos are good? I don't care what their record is. Do you think the Broncos are a good team? Because since they went on the road and beat the Philadelphia Eagles, these have been their wins. 13-11 against the New York Jets. The Jets are terrible. The Jets just quit on their season. It was 13-11 against the worst team in the National Football League. They had to score 33 points in the final quarter against the New York Giants, another bottom 5 team in the National Football League, and they beat them by 1 point. Now, I give them credit. They have the Cowboys at home, and boy, did they pummel on the Dallas Cowboys and that cupcake defense. Then they played Houston. They beat Houston by 3 points. They played the Las Vegas Raiders in one of the most uninspiring, unenthusiastic, boring football games that I've seen in quite some time. I don't know if the Broncos won as much as the Raiders did quite possibly everything that you could do to lose a football game. From penalties to getting touchdown called back to turnovers to mistakes after mistake after mistake, the Broncos narrowly and sleptwalk through beating one of the worst teams in the National Football League. So I stand here before you asking you the exact same question. Do you think the Broncos are good? Because I'm out. Now, I acknowledge that team is going to make the postseason, but I'm talking about, are you good? Like, are you a Super Bowl contending team? Can you really make noise? Are we talking about you like you got a chance to represent the AFC in San Francisco And I'm here to tell you, as we are halfway done with the NFL season, as we are a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving, my answer with the Broncos is no. You've been playing like this for a month. You have one good win so far this season. Now, we'll see what happens next week against Kansas City. You still got to play Green Bay. You still got to play the Chargers. So there's time. But I'm watching an offense right now that has been struggling for over a month now. I'm watching a quarterback that has not shown me any growth, has not taken a step forward. I don't know how we can sit here and in good confidence say that you've been watching this Broncos team and feel like they can win the Super Bowl. This feels like smoke and mirrors. I've seen this team before. I remember a decade ago when the Chiefs started 9-0 when we all knew, hey, that's not real. And then look what happened. Remember the Pittsburgh Steelers a few years ago? Was that the COVID season? When the Steelers got off to a really good start and none of us really believed and trusted that team, and then it fell apart in the second half of the season? This was the comparison that was made by somebody who covers the Denver Broncos. This analogy was not made by me. This is somebody who watches the team in and out, somebody who does radio in Denver. He called them the 2022 Minnesota Vikings.
What I would say for the Broncos is sometimes when you see a lot of these types of results, sometimes I do wonder, is this a little bit like the 2022 Vikings, for example, that they won an awful lot of close games in the regular season as a team that was emerging, and then they got into the playoffs, they played the Giants in the first game, and they lost. I mean, is it a team like that, or is it a team that keeps on winning as they get into December and into the postseason? I think that's a question that I'm not sure that we have the answer to right now.
I'm not here to tell anybody how they should feel about the Denver Broncos. If you've been watching this team and you think the Broncos are real, if you think the Broncos are legit, if you think they can win the AFC West, if you think they can win the championship, hey, we are allowed to disagree about football teams. I'm telling you, based on what I've seen, sitting down and watching this team and going through their record with a fine-tooth comb, I think they have spent all day sparring with the puppies. So I don't trust them to be able to run with the wolves at night. I don't think we're watching a good football team. I think they are a good defense that has taken advantage of a great schedule. And when they have played, for the most part, teams that have a pulse, they have made mistakes at the end of the game to lose. That's what happened against Indianapolis. That's what happened against the Chargers. They caught the Eagles at the absolute perfect time to catch them. And I'm not here to poke holes in the Eagles win. That's a good win. You go on the road and you beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Since then, you have given me nothing to believe in. Nothing. So I'm out. The answer for me is no. I don't think the Broncos are a good team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contending team. I think it's smoke and mirrors. I think it is something that eventually it is a house of cards that is going to come crumbling down right before us. So I want you to mark this. I want you to remember this. And if I'm wrong, make fun of me. But that's how I feel about the Denver Broncos after sitting there and watching them on Thursday Night Football. I want to read this to you because we haven't spent a lot of time talking about this. And honestly, the reason we have is it hasn't really affected me yet. So last weekend, I just didn't watch a lot of college football. I went to one of my friend's games. He's an assistant coach over at Pitt State. So I just was out and about. Missouri had a bye week. So I just didn't watch a lot of college football last week. And then when I got in front of the television, I started watching Game 7 of the World Series. So I just didn't watch a whole lot of college football. So it didn't really matter what was on ESPN, what was on ABC. It just really wasn't part of my day. I wasn't super interested in Cowboys and Cardinals on Monday Night Football because the Cardinals stink and so do the Cowboys. So it hasn't really affected me so far. I have not noticed that we don't have ESPN and we don't have their plethora of channels. Well, now it matters. Friday night, you got Kansas and North Carolina. Saturday, you got Texas Tech and BYU. I mean, you got big-time games. Patrick Mahomes is the celebrity guest picker on ESPN's College Game Day. Monday Night Football might be the biggest regular season game in the NFC between the Packers and the Eagles. And wait, you're telling me this service that I pay $82 a month for, I can't watch the games? When YouTube TV, their number one draw is that it is the live sports app. You got the multi-view and you got things going. You aren't watching Desperate Housewives with the multi-view. No, you're watching sports. You got the NFL Sunday Ticket, you got the multi-view, and when you got that thing going and you can watch all the games, it's beautiful. That's why I have YouTube TV. But as I've been doing more reading in this and just trying to update myself and try to stay knowledgeable on what's going on, they're not fixing this anytime soon. I want to read this to you. YouTube TV has called out Disney for leaking documents to the press and negotiating in public through their paid talent. I mean, we know that Disney and ESPN is doing that. Go on an ESPN personality social media page. It has been nonstop propaganda. Hey, be sure to go on this website, keepmynetworks.org. No, I'm not going on this website. You figure it out. We got other stuff to worry about. I pay you guys enough money. Why can't you guys come together, give us our channels, and we can all go on with our lives? Listen to this. Quote, once again, Disney is resorting to their old tactics like leaking documents to the press, negotiating in public through their paid talent, and misrepresenting the facts, including from the deals they've offered and taking credit for our product proposals. Our team stands ready to make a fair agreement in line with their deals and other distributors, and we encourage Disney to come to the table and do what's best for our mutual customers. No one is winning, only we are losing. I don't care about the television ratings of these shows. I mean, it sounds good to talk about and it's good talking points, but I ain't getting no points off the package. I don't care how many people watch BYU and Texas Tech. It don't matter to me. But I know I want to be a part of the people that get a chance to watch it. And I shouldn't have to resort like this is a UFC pay-per-view or a big boxing match. I shouldn't have to pull up the Fire Stick to watch the games that I'm already paying for. I shouldn't have to go on the internet and use a VPN to be able to watch the games that already should be included in my monthly subscription. So at this point, I don't care whose fault it is. I mean, I think it's more ESPN, Viacom, and Disney's fault. I think they're trying to hold YouTube TV hostage. We want to start our own standalone app, so we're going to hit you up for a little bit more because you need us, we believe, way more than we need you. But 10 million people have YouTube TV. Right now, it is the second largest cable provider in the country, and I'm guessing through time, it is going to pass Spectrum as number one, who has 12 million people that have signed up for it. So what are we doing here? Get back on the same page. Give us our shows back. Give us our games back. Give us our television back, because that's what we're paying for. I don't care whose fault it is. Just fix it. It's like when you got your two young kids fighting in the back. He started it. I don't care. Apologize to your brother. You apologize to your brother. Stop fighting, and I want some peace and quiet. That's how I feel when it comes to this negotiation right now between YouTube TV and Disney. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about Bo Nix, who has been playing like a scrub. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses, plus an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day, with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice noticed that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Do you have a dark curiosity? Heart Starts Pounding, Horrors, Hauntings, and Mysteries is a weekly podcast hosted by me, Kaylin Moore. Each week, I'll take you on a dark journey through terrifying true urban legends, bizarre true crime cases, chilling tales of backwoods horror, and more. So if you're looking to join a passionate community of the darkly curious, check out Heart Starts Pounding on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, stay curious.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
Welcome back into the show. Coming up in about 5 minutes or so, we'll talk about tonight's basketball game between Kansas and North Carolina. Rob informs me that we have more Darren Peterson propaganda that we have to share with you guys. I told Rob that I will give him his time every week to talk about Darren Peterson. It makes even more sense now that we are in season. It was one thing he was trying to do that in September, you know? He was trying to do that on like October 4th. All right, now it's time. They got North Carolina coming up. We'll play the Darren Peterson propaganda coming up in just a bit. Before we do that, Rob, let's talk about the Denver Broncos and their Thursday night football win over the Las Vegas Raiders. So if you eliminate the end of game drive when the Broncos are putting the game away, but maybe you got to count. I mean, they ran 10 plays on that drive. So that's not just that we're going to knee the clock out. So maybe we should count it. The Broncos had 13 drives on Thursday night. 7 of them ended because of a 3-and-out. 7. The Broncos have put 1 touchdown drive together in their last 17 drives. If you go back to the game against the Houston Texans, Their offense was awful yesterday. Really, really bad offensively. And for a team that I think they got just about everything you would need on offense. I like their run game. Now we'll see what happens with J.K. Dobbins. He's dealing with an injury, but I mean, you had to know at some point that was going to happen. He is always dealing with some kind of injury. I like their tight end. I think they got capable wide receivers. They've invested heavily in their offensive line. They got a good defense. I like their head coach. I mean, the Broncos, in theory, they got almost everything you think they would need, except their quarterback. Now, this is what I was fearful of whenever Bo Nix was a prospect. He never really wowed me a whole bunch. I mean, I thought he was fine, but I always questioned what the ceiling was. Last year, Bo Nix was great last season. Really caught us off guard, I would say. This season, this is kind of what I expected. You guys know, if you've been listening to this show for any amount of time, I am really, really big on completion percentage and yards per attempt. He is completing 60% of his passes. That's not good at this stage in his career. Not with that offensive line, those running backs, those weapons. 60% when the average is 64, that ain't good. His yards per attempt is 6.1. Also not good for a quarterback at this stage. I don't care that he's top 4, top 5 in touchdown passes. You got to use your instincts is what I'm talking about. You got to use your instincts. Is that what you're seeing right now from Bo Nix? Are you seeing top quarterback production, or do you see a quarterback right now that appears to be holding back his team offensively? I mean, you have every advantage given to you. I've seen Sean Payton's handiwork. Again, mentioning the weapons, I think you got all the weapons in the world. Right now, the Broncos' biggest problem in their offense is their quarterback doesn't appear to be good enough.
And it appears he's regressing. Like, it was fair to, at this time last year, have questions about Bo Nix, but he was winning and he was playing pretty good football last year. And you felt like, oh, as a rookie, as a quarterback in Sean Payton's system, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but he was successful in year 1. Watch out for year 2. He has not taken that step forward at all in year 2. It has been regression city. And I know the Broncos are 8-2, but me and you see the Broncos the same way. They don't have a quarterback. Now they might legitimately have the best defense in football. Like that defense is Super Bowl caliber.
It's very good.
No doubt in my mind. But in 2025, 2026, can you win a Super Bowl without competent quarterback play? I'm not talking about just getting average quarterback play. They're getting bad quarterback play. Bo Nix looks like Bo Nix from Auburn, not Bo Nix from Oregon. He has been real bad for the Broncos. And honestly, I don't mind it as a Chiefs fan, but I don't understand how it happened. He looked pretty good last year. He has an offensive-minded coach. They have good weapons, and he's just been bad, real bad. Like, a lot of terms to describe, like, any analogy you want, trash, whatever. That's what he has been this season. It's just been really bad football from a player that I thought could take a step forward in 2025.
And if you want to look at some of the numbers that Bo Nix has accumulated so far through the first 10 games of the season, Bo Nix is 29th in yards per attempt. That ain't good. Bo Nix is 29th in completion percentage. Also not good. He is 27th this season in quarterback rating. Just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, Bo Nix is 85.7. Joe Flacco has an 83 quarterback rating. Now, I'm not telling you that Joe Flacco and Bo Nix are even. I'm just telling you that based on the numbers, based on their ratings, Bo Nix and Joe Flacco have played very similar styles of football this year. In fact, Joe Flacco only has 60 less passing yards than Bo Nix does this season. He has a higher completion percentage than Bo Nix, a higher yards per attempt than he does. I mean, they've been very, very similar. Bo Nix has just not played consistently well, and we know to navigate the AFC, you are going to have to get good, capable quarterback play. And so far, that's just not what they have gotten, not at all. Here is Stephen A. Smith talking about the Broncos offense. Let me tell you, it ain't good.
I watched this Denver Broncos offense go 3 and out like 8 different times, punt the ball like 7 different times. And I said, my God, this looks atrocious. This is the leaders in the AFC West. Then I started remembering, wait a minute, Kansas City's a couple of games back, and they got not 1 but 2 games against Denver coming up. Now, I know this defense is real, and they're leading the league in sacks. You know, they got at least 12 to 14 sacks ahead of anybody else in the National Football League. And if you can get to the quarterback, which they can do, okay, you know that you can make things happen for yourself. And obviously, the Denver Broncos can do that, so you can't rule out the possibility that they could beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But it doesn't take away from the fact that their offenses look like straight trash. And when you think I'm thinking about Cortland Sutton. I'm thinking about him having like 8 catches for 121 yards over the last 3 games. Last night, 3 catches for 24 yards. I'm looking at Bo Nix complete just 56% of his passes over the last 4 games. And then I'm looking at the talent that they've got on their squad. The J.K. Dobbins, the R.J. Harveys of the world, Sutton I already have mentioned, Franklin as well. You've got talent. And then I'm thinking about this is a Super Bowl champion coach we're talking about in Sean Payton, who is known for his offensive genius, and he's the play caller. I was happy to hear him say he has to do better because he has to do better.
That was Stephen A. Smith on First Take. I don't want to be prisoner of the moment. I don't want to overreact. I understand that these standalone games on national TV, they lead themselves to this. It is much more than just one game on Thursday Night Football to me with the Broncos. They've been playing like this for a month. A 2-point win against the Jets, a 1-point win against the Giants, a 3-point win against the Las Vegas Raiders, a last-second field goal against the Houston Texans. You ain't playing like a Super Bowl contending top-notch team. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. That's what I'm seeing from this Broncos team. I'm just not impressed. We'll see what they look like against Kansas City. The schedule is about to tighten up. They play Green Bay again, but just so far, this playing like that, you don't beat Kansas City. I don't care where that game is. You don't beat Green Bay playing the way that they have played these last handful of games against the opponents that they've been playing against. Coming up in just a bit, we are going to be joined by someone from Sports Illustrated to get you ready for college basketball coming up tonight between Kansas and North Carolina. Rob, go ahead. I already know. I see you. You look giddy. You look giddy to play this audio. I haven't heard it. You didn't let me hear it. You said, no, wait, I'll play it. Go ahead and play it. Tell me who this is. What is it about? It's something Darren Peterson related.
So first things first, I don't know why we didn't lead with Darren Peterson. Today should be 4 hours of Darren Peterson, but for some reason the Broncos and the AFC West are the lead. Whatever. This is Bill Simmons, one of the best voices in sports media, talking again. This is a different cut from Bill Simmons, talking about the greatest college basketball freshman we have ever seen.
The Kansas kid might be the best guard prospect since Vince Carter, or even go back to Kobe. Like, that's potentially how good he is, Peterson.
You hear that? Not just Kobe, Vince Carter or Kobe. He might be the best college guard we've seen since them. That's how good he is. He plays basketball in a game that matters against an elite team in 3.5 hours? And for some reason, we're 27 minutes into the show, and he hasn't popped up once. Not once yet. So you know what? I'm going to let you talk about the phenom while I get Kevin Sweeney of Field of 68 on the show. He wrote an article for SI where he got quotes from people all over the country, which included C.J. McCollum, NBA superstar, who said he could have been a pro at this time last year when he was in high school. Go ahead, talk about the greatest player locally we have playing hoops.
Okay, let me hear this whole thing, because something tells me you cut it off and I didn't get a chance to hear the whole context. I didn't get a chance to hear it. Can you hit it again? Let me hear the full context of it.
The Kansas kid might be the best guard prospect since Vince Carter, or even go back to Kobe. Like, that's potentially how good he is, Peterson. And then DeBanza, and then Boozer's son, the power forward, Cam Boozer.
Awesome.
Those three are all franchise guys.
Okay. You know what? I'm just going to reserve my comments. We're just going to forget Kyrie Irving happened during this time. We're going to forget that John Wall happened during this time. Okay. Best guard prospect since Kobe or Vince Carter, we are hearing. I mean, Russell Westbrook came out during this time. James Harden. Seems like there's been a lot. Ja Morant. Best guard prospect since Kobe or Vince Carter. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Kevin Sweeney. He's with Field of 68. He's also with Sports Illustrated. He recently wrote a piece on Darren Peterson. Kevin, how you doing today, my man?
I'm good, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So let's start with this. You talk to people around the game, people in the game about Darren Peterson and the kind of prospect he was. What did you hear?
Yeah, I had one NBA scout tell me he's the best guard prospect in a decade. Some are a little stronger on that, some are a little softer, right? You get guys like Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards that I think were viewed very highly, but obviously it's what Darren has accomplished in high school, AAU, internationally, and now here early in his college career has been remarkably impressive and has really moved the needle with NBA folks. His upside is just so high.
When you watched him play, is there a certain player that comes to mind? Like I remember last year when Cooper Flagg, we were having these conversations, a lot of people used the term Kevin Garnett. Hey, he reminds me of KG. When you watch Darren Peterson, is there somebody that comes to mind?
I think he moves and like the flow that he plays with is very similar to Devin Booker. I think he pulls from different guys. I think he has the ability to draw fouls, sort of like a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Tyrese Maxey, another guy, but I think Booker is probably maybe the most seamless comparison in my eyes.
Right now, we're talking to Kevin Sweeney with Field of 68 and SI. How do you feel about this Kansas team as a whole? We'll talk more specifically about this game and this individual matchup, but I mean, there's a lot of turnover on this Kansas squad, which might be a good thing after the year that they had. They have a very talented freshman. You have a couple of other nice prospects around them, but this isn't your typical conventional Kansas team. How do you feel about them heading into the season?
Yeah, I've probably been more optimistic than maybe the national narrative has been, right? I think when you have an offseason that was maybe a little bumpier than people expected, didn't have the portal success some people hoped for, I think, especially nowadays, like we get so worked up about like what does the team accomplish in the portal, and like that's how you're ranked. And I think for Kansas, it wasn't necessarily about going and getting stars. They already had one in Darren and potentially another in Flory, but what guys could fit, and I think Melvin Council has proven to be a fit. We'll see if some of the other guys like a Dawson and a Trey White can get it together. I do worry a little bit about the shooting. I worry a little bit about having to play some smaller lineups at times and how that impacts them defensively, although Flory can erase a lot of that at the rim. So you're cautiously optimistic is probably the best way of putting it at the moment. Obviously, we'll learn a lot tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're a team that's based around a freshman guard, there's going to be a lot of growth as the season progresses. Do you see Darren Peterson as a guy that can kind of get his teammates involved and make them better? We know that we have seen there are certain guards that they elevate everybody. The rising tide lifts all boats. Do you see him as that guy that can maybe carry a roster that's not overloaded with superstars, but they got him, and that's all you really need?
Yeah, I mean, he'll attract so much attention, and it's the real test for him will be how comfortable is he when teams do everything they can to take him out of the game? How comfortable is he setting up others? He has a really mature approach. One of the things that I was talking to him about was, I asked him, like, who's your favorite NBA player to watch? He said, like, recently, I don't have one guy. I try to watch the best player on every team and see how they're guarded because I know that's what I'm going to deal with this year. Like, every blitz, every hedge, everything they can do to force the ball out of the star player's hands, like that's what I need to learn how to do. And I think he's shown tremendous progress in that regard. But he is still, I think, learning as a playmaker and growing. And I think there will probably be some growing pains with that, especially if teams don't respect the rest of Kansas's roster from the perimeter and can kind of pack the paint outside of them.
Right now, we're talking to Kevin Sweeney with Field of 68 and SI. In terms of a prospect, are we looking at him as a better prospect than Cooper Flagg? Are we looking at him as a better prospect than Zion? Like, you cover this sport. Zion was viewed coming out of high school as just a can't miss. I've never seen anything like this. Cooper Flagg, we've been talking about Cooper Flagg since he was 14 years old, and we saw the kind of season that he put up. Are we talking about that level of prospect that Darren Peterson is?
I think so. I think Darren and AJ DeBansa at BYU and maybe potentially Cameron Boozer as well would all be in like the Flag level prospect tier. Doesn't mean that like they'll have the years in college that Cooper had. Doesn't mean, like there's a lot that we will learn over the next, 9 months until draft day. But, I think it's fair to say based on what he's accomplished that he's on that tier, like that, like clear alpha, potential best player on a team in the NBA at some point guy. I think in some ways Darren's like translation to the NBA is probably smoother because he is that like primary ball handler, guy that you can run an offense and build a team around. Whereas Cooper, he was unbelievable in college, and he's going to have a great NBA career. There's no question about it. But the question with him was the ceiling. Is he someone that you're building your franchise around as the best player? And I think Darren would be very high on the list of non-Wembanyama prospects to hit the NBA over the last several years.
I looked at Joe Lunardi's bracketology. I know it's super early on, but I was just curious kind of where he had KU pegged. He has them pegged as a 6 seed heading into the year. Do you think that's too high, too low, or just right for KU?
I would say too low, largely because there's going to have so many opportunities to stack good wins. Right. Okay, let's see. Let's say they lose tonight against Carolina. You turn around, all right, well, in a week we get to go play Duke at the Garden, and then, Players Era, and you go in the Big 12 schedule. They're going to end up with a strong resume, even if there's bumps in the road. We've seen that the last couple of years. I mean, this was a 7 seed last year, and it felt like the world was burning down half the time, right? I think they end up being a top 3 to 4 seed when it's all said and done. But yeah, obviously the schedule being as good as that also makes it unforgiving. And if they do hit rough patches, there's not going to be a lot of easy nights to dig you out of the hole.
I feel like the first 30 days of the college basketball season now are just so much about discovery, whether it comes with freshmen, the transfer portal. You look up and there's a kid that was really good at Arizona last year. Oh, wait, that kid transferred to North Carolina. It's just figuring these things out. Who do you like tonight in this matchup between KU and North Carolina? Just coming into it, I don't know much about either one of these teams, and we're going to find out.
Yeah, look, I think both coaches probably feel the same way. They like their groups. They like, their talent level, but they don't know how their group's going to respond in these moments, and I think we'll learn a lot about both. I lean towards Kansas in this game. I think their physicality will help them. I'm not sure how tough this North Carolina group is. I'm not sure that they have someone that can really guard Darren. I'm not sure many people do. But I think if you're playing against him, you'd love to have maybe a little more rim protection than what Carolina has. But it should be an awesome one. And again, I think we'll learn a lot about both teams.
I'm just happy that these games are happening on campus. I mean, I love the games that happen at Barclays Center or the Maui Invitation or Madison Square Garden. But there's something special about these home and homes and allowing students the opportunity to be able to go. I'm happy that this game's played on campus.
Yeah, 100%, right? And, I think it's important that we don't lose sight of that. I do think we're actually going to see more and more big-time on-campus games because of the NIL and rev share world. In the NIL world, there was value in playing them on neutrals because in some cases you could kind of funnel money to your players through that. Now, I think there will be more of an emphasis on playing more high-level home games because you make money off those, right? A game like this for Carolina is going to be a huge night financially, with tickets and parking and drinks. And, that's one of the reasons that, things like the Maui Invitational are struggling right now is because programs sit there and say, well, why would we play 3 games and lose money in Maui if we can play, 1 or 2 bye games and then 1 or 2 high-level games in our home gym and really not only boost our resume but also give our fans a great experience and make some money while we do it.
I'll get you out of here with this. We always love asking our basketball guests this question. Who's the best high school prospect that you've seen over your time covering the sport? Who is that kid that you were convinced this kid's going to be good? I remember seeing Shabazz Muhammad when he was at UCLA, and I'm just thinking, man, this guy's got a chance to be a really, really good NBA player. Watching him in college, and then when he gets to the NBA, it just didn't pan out. Who was the best prospect you've seen? Who's somebody that you swore they were going to be a good NBA player, and it just didn't work out?
The busts are always a hard one to find. I'm trying to think of a good one, a good example of that. I mean, I still think the most dominant AAU player was Cade Cunningham, and he's finally started to figure it out in the NBA after a couple bumps. Markelle Fultz is probably the easiest answer. I didn't see a world where he wasn't going to be great, both in college, in high school, and then at Washington, and just never came together.
That is Kevin Sweeney joining us on the show. He's with Field of 68s and Sports Illustrated. We got a great one tonight between Kansas and North Carolina on the hardwood, 2 of the greatest programs in the history of the sport. Kevin, great stuff, man. Looking forward to a great game tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. That is Kevin Sweeney joining us on the show with Field of 68. Rob, in terms of buzz, hype, and anticipation, where are you at right now? I feel like you're at a 13. I've never seen you act like this for a KU basketball player.
I mean, it's just there's something different about Darren Peterson. And it's not, I think part of the allure, part of the excitement among KU fans is that last year was a down year and it wasn't up to expectation. And it did feel like a massive letdown and all those things. And it felt like you kind of got sold a bill of goods on Hunter Dickinson and these transfers. Man, the hype around Darren Peterson has expanded beyond just the KU sphere. Like you talked to like a Brian Haney or a Greg Gurley. Okay, they're excited. I get it. Now you're having Kevin Sweeney. Now you're having, Bill Simmons. Now you're having, I know Doug Gottlieb is in the college. You're having these people talk about him like, okay, these are people who are outside of KU's little ecosystem saying, oh, he's different. And then you watch the 2 games he's played in and you can tell, oh, he is different. He just moves different. I don't know the team is Final Four good around him, but I know that he is a freak and is enjoyable to watch play.
Coming up on the other side, we'll get you ready for this weekend in college football. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for Mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading land, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your local Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley has the machines to get it done. Lease the Cat 300.9 mini excavator for just $399 a month and take advantage of other limited-time demo and purchase incentives. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your Foley Equipment location or go to FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
Hi there, I'm Charlie. And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC. If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help. Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting. Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team. He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days. He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises. Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision. Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off earlier cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1/8/2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This afternoon, expect sunny conditions with a high of 68.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
I want to tell you guys that today is a FanDuel Friday on the show. It is presented by FanDuel, of course, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. So, coming up at the top of the hour, we are going to be joined by Brandon Kiley. We're going to talk a little Missouri and A&M. We'll get you ready for that matchup that's coming up on Saturday. But let's talk about it. I think there are 4 games of note this weekend in college football. The first game, the site of College Game Day, is BYU against Texas Tech. Rob, I'll defer to you on this one as our resident Big 12 expert. Texas Tech is 5-1. BYU is 8-0, 5-0 in the Big 12, undefeated so far this season. But Texas Tech, they are a massive favorite in this game. They're a 10.5-point favorite. How do you feel about BYU at Tech?
I feel like BYU has been a very nice story this year, but it's been a little bit – it's different than the Denver Broncos, but very Denver Broncos-ish, and I think it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. I think they're a good team. I think they're kind of similar to last year's team where they were really good early, kind of fell apart late, finished 9-3. That's how I feel about this year's BYU team. I think Texas Tech's about to maul them. Like, I don't know if you've seen the videos on social media. Texas Tech fans have been camping out outside the stadium since Tuesday. They got game day. They got Mahomes. They got special jerseys. They got their quarterback back and healthy. Like, this just feels like Texas Tech flexes on the national scale and BYU is helpless, and it's like 38-17 type of energy.
I mean, I'm looking right now at the ticket market for it. The cheapest ticket to get in for the game is at $375 right now, so the buzz and anticipation is incredibly high at Texas Tech. Last thing here on the Big 12, do you think right now the team that represents the Big 12 is between BYU, Texas Tech, and Utah? Am I about right there? Do you think there's any other team that could potentially pop into that race and maybe grab one of those playoff spots?
I think it's going to end up being Tech and Utah are the only 2 teams that can really do it because I don't think BYU is this good. Now, their schedule is advantageous. Even if they lose this weekend, it feels like they could then end up in Arlington for the Big 12 title game, but I don't know a 2-loss BYU does it. I think Utah could sneak in to be like a 12 seed or maybe an 11 seed because I guess Memphis will be a 12 seed in the college football playoff. But those are the 3 teams that are in the race, but I feel like in reality it is if Utah can get their quarterback back and healthy and up and going with Devin Dampier, and then Texas Tech just looks like Texas Tech again, those are really the cream of the crop in the Big 12.
I don't know about you guys, but it stinks that LSU and Bama just doesn't have any importance anymore. Now, obviously, Alabama needs to win. Right now, they're ranked 4th in the rankings. But this used to be the one game that you had circled. This was the rivalry in college football a half decade ago. And right now, it just doesn't have any buzz, any juice. I mean, they're going to play this under the lights at night. It's on ABC. Half of us won't be able to watch it anyway on YouTube TV. And that's probably for the best. I wish I could come on here and tell you that I feel like Missouri is going to pull off the upset. I really wish I could tell you this. True freshman quarterback. Offense has really been inconsistent in these games against the SEC. Very important game for Texas A&M. A team that I think A&M's better than Missouri. I think they got a better coach. I think they got a better quarterback. I think they have more talent than Missouri. The only advantage to me for Missouri in this game is that they're at home, and I think their defense can keep the game interesting for a while. I just don't know if they got the right quarterback or the offense. I certainly hope that I'm wrong in what's going to happen and how it's going to play itself out, but I think you got to love A&M to go on the road and get this win over the Tigers.
I don't disagree with you, but You don't think that, Eli Drinkwitz and co could figure out some stuff to make Matt Zollers go after a bye week? Like, he did not look bad in the second half against Vanderbilt. He looked, considering the situation, you could argue that they probably could have won the game at certain points with him in. Now you get a bye week and you're at home. You don't think they can scheme something up to get him going, at least early, to get his confidence going and stay in the game? I agree with you, especially if A&M comes out early and scores fast and kind of puts it on Missouri. It could be an avalanche, but I can see a scenario with a week off and preparation and a kid with that much talent. You can make it go with Matt Zollers, at least for a little bit against A&M,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. But I think you got to play a complete 60 minutes. And I just don't know, as a true freshman in the SEC who just didn't get a lot of reps for the most part, I just don't know if you're really capable at this stage in your career. I'm hopeful for the future. I thought he did some things very well against Vanderbilt a couple of weeks ago, going up against one of the 5 best teams in college football. I'm just not overly optimistic about this matchup when it comes to them. Do you think that Oregon is on upset alert? Because Oregon is going on the road at Iowa in Big Ten play, which still sounds very, very weird to say that Oregon is going on the road to play Iowa in a conference game. But we've seen this before. New environment, unfamiliar. I mean, it's going to be 42 degrees. I'm guessing it's not going to be the best weather, and Oregon goes on the road to play Iowa. I think we're looking at an upset alert here. I think Oregon is in for a fight.
So I actually, this by pure happenstance, this just came across my timeline. A lot of the college football people I follow are retweeting this. Hawkeye Football just put out an alert saying, due to inclement weather tomorrow and a sellout crowd, they're encouraging fans to get in early due to the cold and potential snow that you are seeing tomorrow in Iowa for Iowa versus Oregon.
Oh, boy.
This has all the makings of an upset, right? Like, I know Oregon has all the talent in the world, and I really have a lot of respect for Dan Lanning. Is there anything on Oregon's resume that says, oh, they're a good team? Like, their best win is against a team that fired their coach 3 weeks later and might not make a bowl game. They have wins against Penn State. I mean, okay. They win against Rutgers. I mean, super. I mean, they don't have that wow win yet. The only team they've played in this echelon, Indiana, came into their house and beat them pretty easily. So I don't know that Iowa wins outright, but a snowy day against a solid defense, and Oregon might be a little propped up, more name than game because their resume is kind of lacking. Like, Iowa's an 8.5-point dog? I could see a scenario where the Hawkeyes cover, and I can see a scenario where this game is ugly. Like 20-17, Iowa plays their sort of game, and it's just an unpleasant game on the eyes, but Iowa comes out with the cover or even an outright upset.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we will get to Missouri's game against Texas A&M. That's probably one of the better games this weekend in college football, one of the better games in the SEC for sure. I want to ask you guys this question really quickly before we move on. I don't know the correct word to use to describe the Antonio Brown situation. All I know is that it's sad, just on a human level. Antonio Brown, for a stretch, from 2013 to 2018, was one of the best receivers that we had quite possibly ever seen. A surefire first ballot Hall of Famer and just an absolute machine. And since that season against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it has been a downward spiral the rest of the way. Basically, ever since he got traded from the Steelers. Remember, it was that weird stretch where he was on the Raiders and he was doing weird things back then. Remember, he went into that chamber and didn't put the right things on his feet, so his feet got messed up. And then he was upset about his helmet. Then he showed up in a hot air balloon. It has just been a lot of things around Antonio Brown. He had a relationship with Tom Brady and basically just turned his back on Tom Brady. That was very weird. And now he is being accused of an attempted murder. And looks like they got some pretty serious damning evidence that he could have possibly done this. Obviously, innocent until proven guilty. Let's see what happens. But you want to talk about a downward spiral where I don't know if Antonio Brown is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I understand that it is a football-only thing. But, I mean, we've seen the off-the-field stuff affect other people. I don't know how in good conscience you could vote for Antonio Brown right now. I know that he has far more serious issues than that. But, I mean, this has been like a 1991 Mike Tyson whirlwind that has been around Antonio Brown for the last handful of seasons. So we'll see how this situation plays itself out. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Antonio Brown, so my understanding was he was at one of those streamers, celebrity boxing events. One of the kids tried to run up and steal his jewelry. He got into a big fight. The fight was over. He had a gun. He was looking for some of these individuals, shot at him. They had him for attempted murder. He fled the country, went to Dubai. He was acting crazy over there in Dubai. They eventually tracked him down. They arrested him. They brought him back over here. And now we'll see what happens and how he gets tried. But just an absolute downward spiral over the last 5-6 years when it comes to Antonio Brown. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get you ready for one of the few ranked matchups that we have on Saturday between the University of Missouri and Texas A&M. Brandon Kiley set to join us on the show next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Get ready, Missouri. Kickoff is near. The world's largest sports book is coming to your fingertips. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. With high and transparent app limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Start betting like a pro in Missouri on December 1st. Learn about your new bookie today at circasports.com. The world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports launches December 1st.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Any size darn good coffee, just 99 cents with Casey's Rewards. Limited time only. See store for details.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Century Roofing has done it again. Voted best roofing company in Johnson County for the 4th year in a row. If you didn't get your roof inspected after last year's hailstorms and your neighbors are getting new roofs, you might have damage too. Don't wait. Book your free inspection today and take advantage of our free material upgrade sale. This can mean big savings on your insurance premium. Trust the pillars of strength with female-owned Century Roofing. CenturyRoofingKC.com. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
FanDuel Friday is turning it up with an NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonus, surprises, all designed to give you that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo. It's your weekly pregame NBA happy hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to grab your reward before the clock expires. Celebrate the beginning of the NBA season in style. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
I've always wanted to learn French. But the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Fresco and Dusty, weekdays 6 to 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
We got 3 or 4 big games this weekend in college football. BYU plays Texas Tech. That is the site of College Game Day. Patrick Mahomes is going to be the celebrity guest picker. Oregon goes on the road to play Iowa. LSU goes on the road to play Bama. I remember when that was the most important college football game of the season. Certainly not that this year. And Texas A&M, they go on the road to play Missouri. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Brandon Kiley. He is with ESPN STL 101 covering the Tigers. BK, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, C-Dot. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I will say this. Man, once you feel like your team is eliminated from the college football playoff, the rest of the season does really feel like a bummer. Now, I know the odds were always against Missouri making it, but you get your hopes up and you think that this can possibly be the year. But now that I don't think they can go to the playoff, I'm not as excited about this game anymore.
It's so funny. We were talking about this because I work at a station where it's Mizzou in Illinois, right? Like that's the Mizzou KU thing in KC is Mizzou, Illinois out here in St. Louis. And our producer is an Illinois fan, and his team was basically eliminated when they lost against Washington. He doesn't care about the rest of the season. He's just done. Like, there's nothing else that matters. It could be one of the best seasons in program history. It's not like Illinois is like this traditional power. They could genuinely finish 9-3, put together an unbelievable season. He doesn't care. It's just over. And in that regard, man, it feels so similar to college basketball now, where once you feel like your team is done from the NCAA tournament, like you fall below 500 in conference play for the end of the year, it's just, okay, yeah, we're playing out the string here. And it feels that way for a lot of teams across college football right now.
So let's talk about this, because I think this is the biggest subject regarding the Missouri Tigers, and honestly, one of the biggest subjects right now in the sport. There are a bunch of premium marquee jobs that are open, and there have been a lot of people that have said no to those jobs. We know eventually somebody is going to say yes to these jobs. Do you think Eli Drinkwitz is one of those people? Do you think he's taken one of these marquee jobs?
My guess today is no, C-Dot. But, like, I think any Mizzou fan that's completely writing off the possibility is just putting their head in the sand. Like, he hasn't signed an extension. We saw Signetti sign the extension. We saw Matt Rule sign the extension. They did that for a reason. They wanted to end any of the speculation surrounding their candidacy for some of these jobs that are coming open, and they did so. Like, once you sign that dotted line, it's over. We don't even have to talk about it anymore. Drink hasn't done that. They just had their bye week. This would have been the time where you'd make it happen if you wanted to do so. He decided not to. So at a minimum, man, he's either A, leveraging this to get more out of Mizzou, or B, legitimately listening. So do I think he leaves? No, I think he probably ends up staying. But I would have to imagine he's at or near the top of the list for both Florida and Penn State, and maybe pretty close to the top of the list at a place like LSU if they're told no by Lane Kiffin. So I'd say like 60-40 he stays, but that's not to dismiss the possibility that he ends up going.
I'm not going to pretend like I think Missouri is a better program than Florida or Penn State, so that's not the basis of this question. But I think you could also make the argument that it's better to coach at Missouri than coach there. If this is going to be the new landscape of college football, so if your team doesn't make the playoff, that you are always in danger of being fired, that you got to be a 9-10 win program every single year, or you're going to lose your job. That's just not the pressure at Missouri. So if I'm Eli Drinkwitz and I'm going to be paid like right now, he is tied for the 10th highest paid coach in college football, and I don't have to deal with nearly the expectations that Brian Kelly had to deal with, or Kalen DeBoer, or Dan Lanning, or Steve Sarkisian. I think that could make it potentially a better job than being at Florida or Penn State.
It's certainly a more comfortable job. I agree with that. And I think there's a couple of different ways to look at it, C-Dot. One is, let's look at it from Drinkwitz's point of view, right? If you already have built Missouri into what it is today, and you're the one that is making this decision, which he is, I could see, and personally, with my own sensibilities, I would stay at Mizzou. I would not take those jobs because of all of the things that you just said. I still believe I can win at a high level at Missouri. I'm never getting fired at Mizzou so long as I continue to, build this thing the way that I have thus far. Meanwhile, if I go to one of these other programs and I lose 7 games next year and then 4 games the following year, boom, I'm immediately on the hot seat. So my sensibilities, I would stick at Mizzou. That being said, I can understand the point of view where you would say, if you're Eli Drinkwitz, hey, I've built this thing up. I'm recruiting at a level nobody's ever seen at Mizzou. I have the ability to use resources that have never been given at the University of Missouri. We just had back-to-back seasons where the schedule laid out in a way where we could have taken advantage of it, and still I wasn't able to even reach the playoff, much less win a title. If I took everything that I have here at Mizzou and did this at LSU or Florida or Penn State, would it be more likely? I do think it's fair to say the ceiling at those programs is still probably higher, but it becomes a question of what do you care more about, that potential for the ceiling or the comfortability of never being on that hot seat. I would also add this, one other quick thing, C-Dot. If you're somebody that's neutral, like if Mizzou's job came open, right, and it's not Eli Drinkwitz making this decision, but it's, I don't know, whoever the next guy, John Sumrall at Tulane making the decision. Better job, Mizzou versus LSU/Florida/Penn State. I think in that scenario, it's kind of hard for me to make the case for Mizzou, unfortunately.
Right now, we're joined by Brandon Kiley. He is with ESPN STL 101, getting you ready for a weekend in college football. Are you a believer in Texas A&M? I mean, they went on the road and they beat Notre Dame, and that was a coin flip. That was one of the better college football games we've seen. Since then, they beat Arkansas. They beat LSU. That's kind of it this season. Right now, they're undefeated in the SEC. They're one of the top 5 ranked teams in the sport. But we all know it's still Texas A&M, so that question's always in the back of your mind. Are you a believer in the Aggies?
A believer, yes, because I think you have to believe in somebody this year. Like, I think Indiana, to me, is the best team that I've seen so far this year. I think Ohio State is the second best team that I've seen so far this year. And then you've got to point to somebody as the third best, right? And for me, that team so far this year has been Texas A&M. That being said, it's not at the same level as some of the teams that we've seen in the past. I don't think there's anybody in college football that is at the level that we've seen from some of the better programs over the last 5+ years. I think that's the result of the transfer portal, NIL. We've talked about all of that over the weeks and years here recently. But I think they're really good. I think they're really good. They have an elite-level quarterback for college football. Their pass rush is elite. And once you do a couple of things at an extraordinarily high level, that's enough right now to be considered a top 3 team in college football. But they're not without flaws. Their run defense is not great. They've given up, I think it's the most 20-yard runs in the conference so far this season. At times, their offense can get a little congested. Their run game, you would think, is elite. It's just pretty good. And they've had some issues with penalties, a couple of games where the turnovers have cost them. So they're not on the same level, in my opinion, as a program like Indiana, but they're a good team. And that right now is probably good enough to be the 3rd best team in the country.
I'm certainly disappointed about the injuries that Missouri has had at quarterbacks with Sam Horn and also with Bo Prabula, but I am excited to see what Matt Zollers can do the rest of the way. I thought he was impressive just to be thrown in that spot on the road against Vanderbilt. Sure, he made a couple of mistakes, but I also thought he did some things right. I mean, if Missouri's not going to make the college football playoff and it's playing out the final month of the season, letting Zollers get on-the-job training is not the worst thing to happen.
I heard Gabe say this, Gabe DeArmond of Power Mizzou, and I think he's right. I don't think Missouri, as constructed previously with Bo Prabula as their starting quarterback, had a shot to make the college football playoff this year. The ceiling was too low on the offense. They clearly weren't moving the ball against higher-level competition, and it wasn't going to get the job done. I think the floor is much lower now because we have no idea what it's going to look like with a true freshman quarterback going up against an elite defense like Texas A&M, who now has film on him. but the ceiling is a little higher. I agree with you, C-Dot. The offense moved better when Zollers came into the game than it did when Bo Prabula was out there. He was on time. He looked more comfortable. It seemed as though the pass rush wasn't getting to him. There were times where Prabula had time, and he just didn't look comfortable because the pass rush, I think, had spooked him over the previous week. So I'm interested to see what it looks like. It's good for the here and now and for the future. I would caution people, though, man, freshman quarterbacks do not win in these situations. I looked this up earlier this week. SEC true freshman quarterbacks that throw at least 15 pass attempts against top 10 ranked opponents, they're 2-16 over the last decade. Those two quarterbacks, it was Ryan Helinski with South Carolina who got a win, and Bo Nix in his true freshman season at Auburn got a win. It's just so incredibly rare to see them perform well in these situations. Almost all of those games were decided by 10 points or more in the direction that Mizzou fans wouldn't be hoping for this weekend.
That Bo Nix freshman year at Auburn, that was like pre-COVID, wasn't it? That was a long time ago.
Yeah, the last decade, it doesn't happen a whole lot, man. You remember Helinski at South Carolina, too. Both of these games were in 2019. So the situation that Mizzou is asking for to take place tomorrow, man, it's rare.
I got to ask you one NFL question. I'm officially out on the Denver Broncos. You can't play like this for a month against the teams that they've played against and then tell me you're a legitimate Super Bowl contending team. Where are you at with the Broncos right now after Thursday Night Football?
They're fraud. They're an absolute fraud.
Thank you, fraudulent.
Nothing about this is real. The defense is legitimately good, right? Like, I think we can say that. And they can continue to win. Like, they'll probably end up going 12-5, 11-6, whatever it is. And then we'll get to the playoffs, and every single one of us will be rushing to our favorite sports betting app to bet against them in the first round, whichever it is that they play, against whoever it is that they go up against, whether that's the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, whomever. Nothing about this is convincing. I can't wait to bet against Bo Nix in the playoffs.
That is Brandon Kiley joining us on the show today. He's with ESPN STL 101, getting you ready for a weekend of college football. BK, man, I appreciate you, man. We'll catch up with you down the line.
You're the best. Yeah, you don't have Mizzou winning tomorrow, right?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. There's not a single part of my body that thinks they win tomorrow. I'll watch them, but I don't think they're winning tomorrow.
I'm shocked by the number of people both picking them against the spread and also to win outright. It's stunning to me, but I'm with you.
That is our guy, BK, joining us on the show today. I mean, I would love to come on here and sing the praises of the Missouri Tigers. I got to keep it a $150 with you. No, no. I think it's more in line they get blown out than they win tomorrow. Like, I could see A&M just giving Missouri the absolute beats tomorrow. I don't trust their offense. I don't trust them to score. And when going up against a team like A&M, that I think A&M is superior to them in basically every category that matters at this point in the season. So no, it is a ranked matchup. It's one of the better games that we have of the day. It's a road game. It's conference play. So I get all of the signs are there. I am not a believer right now in this Missouri team, not up against a team like Texas A&M. Keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading land, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley has the machines to get it done. Lease the Cat 255 compact track loader for just $8.99 a month and take advantage of other limited-time demo and purchase incentives. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your Foley Equipment location or go to FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
If you're a man waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. This is Jeff Montgomery. Do what I did. Contact Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. Go to miva-medical.com.
Bud Light and Tanner's are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets. Only at Kansas area Tanner's locations. Bud Light and Tanner's. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
Hi, we're your friends who get super excited about the holidays.
We sure are, or this isn't the ugliest holiday sweater ever.
People think we're happy because we love peppermint lattes.
Or catching snowflakes on our tongues.
But really, it's because
it's Holiday Millionaire Raffle season!
It's your best odds to win $1 million.
That's dollars, not twinkling lights, but that would be great too.
Play the Kansas Lottery Holiday Millionaire Raffle. Get excited.
See kslottery.com for details.
FanDuel Friday is turning it up with NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all designed to bring that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo, it's your weekly pregame. NBA Happy Hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to grab your reward before the clock expires. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening, because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Shawnee Mission Ford, headed down into Shawnee. You've got a crash. 35 southbound as you approach 635. Right lane is blocked and multi-car crash downtown KC. 71 northbound past 22nd. At Shawnee Mission Ford, you get it all. A great selection of new Fords plus a lifetime powertrain warranty along with the 1-year Selected Plus protection. View inventory at ShawneeMissionFord.com. From America for America. Shawnee Mission Ford, on a mission to do more. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. Coming up in just a bit, we'll get back to talking about Bo Nix. We'll get back to talking about the Denver Broncos. So coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by Ryan Edwards. He covers the Broncos with KOA in Denver. They are the Denver Broncos flagship station. Yesterday, we had Andrew Mason on the show. He covers the Broncos. He says that he believes this Broncos team could be the 2022 Minnesota Vikings.
What I would say for the Broncos is sometimes when you see a lot of these types of results, sometimes I do wonder, is this a little bit like the 2022 Vikings, for example, that they won an awful lot of close games in the regular season as a team that was emerging, and then they got into the playoffs, they played the Giants in the first game, and they lost? I mean, is it a team like that, or is it a team that keeps on winning as they get into December and into the postseason? I think that's a question that I'm not sure that we have the answer to right now.
So we'll get back to talking about the Broncos here coming up in a bit. But before we do that, so I am going to split this up. I have 10 overarching questions about the NFL. I've split them up between 10 NFC questions and 10 AFC questions. Let's get to my questions about the NFC. Hit the music. All right, one of my questions that I have right now about the NFC is, can San Francisco get healthy? I think San Francisco is one of the better teams in the NFC when they have everybody available. So far this season, they just haven't had everybody available a whole lot this season. I mean, if you look at their quarterback situation, I mean, Mac Jones has made 7 starts. Brock Purdy has only made 2 starts so far this season. They've been unable to really get Christian McCaffrey going because teams have just been loading up the box to stop him in the run game. But he is their leading receiver right now with 626 yards and a handful of touchdowns so far. I mean, outside of that, their running backs have been beat up. Their wide receivers have been beat up. That defense has been beat up. Sometimes it just happens like that throughout the course of an NFL season where your team the injury luck is not in your favor. We call it the wheel of misfortune. It lands on you and it lands on bankrupt and you just lose everything. It feels like it could potentially be that year for San Francisco, but they are as good as any team in the NFC when they're healthy. So far this season, Rob, they just haven't been healthy really that much.
I feel like that they're not Chargers level of injury, but I feel
it's close. It's real close to Chargers level of injuries.
It is. They are definitely in the same area. Maybe they're in different neighborhoods.
Same area. They're in the same block. They live a couple houses down the street from each other.
It is very, very similar. Now, to the Niners' credit, they usually, when they are healthy, maximize it better than the Chargers do. But it is hard, even when they're healthy, for me to believe in the Niners. They just don't have any weapons. They don't have any oomph at any position other than running back. And I think Brock Purdy's fine. But I think Brock Purdy's fine and playable and Super Bowl caliber when you have Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle in his prime. I don't know he's that guy when it's Jawan Jennings, Sky Moore, and I don't know, Ricky Pearsall at wide receiver. I just don't. So even if they get healthy, I have big questions about the Niners, but I don't think they ever seem to get healthy. That's not really a thing for the Niners.
My next question in the NFC is, who's going to win the NFC North? Right now, every team is above or at 500. Minnesota is the worst team in that division at 4-4, and they just have a -4 point differential. So they've been pretty competitive so far this season. The Bears are 5-3. I'm not really a believer in Chicago. Detroit is 5-3. Green Bay is 5-2-1. If you're asking me right now to pick a team, I'm going to pick the Lions because I think they've been the most consistent of all of these teams. We'll talk more about this because one of my other questions is, and I guess I can just tell you right now, question number 3 is, I don't know what to make of the Green Bay Packers. If every team plays their best, I think the Packers are the best team in the NFC. But I also don't know what version of the Packers you're going to get. This is a team that I think is capable of putting the beats on the Detroit Lions like they did earlier this season. This is also a team that can lose to the Cleveland Browns, tie the Dallas Cowboys, and then at home just look completely uninspiring against the Carolina Panthers. They got a big-time home game coming up on Monday Night Football against the Eagles. I just never know what version of the Packers you're going to get. So 2 questions here. A, who's going to win the AFC North? Because that division is super competitive right now. And what version of the Green Bay Packers you're going to get? They're one of the biggest enigma teams right now in the league.
I don't think the Packers are bad. I'm going to answer these questions in reverse. I don't think the Packers are bad. I said it in August, and I said it when they added Parsons. I guess that was still in August. I just don't trust Jordan Love. And Jordan Love is one of the reasons why you don't know what they are. He did not look good on Sunday. Like, that's actually too nice. He looked bad against the Panthers on Sunday. And I know the Panthers are, feisty and 5-4, and they are better than we anticipated. Actually, I think you had the Panthers being pretty good this year, so credit to you for seeing the vision with the Panthers, at least the halfway point. But at home at Lambeau Field, you should not be losing to the Packers, and especially that defense. And Jordan Love just wasn't good. So I think one of the reasons people are worried about the Packers is it's a lot of the same things people worry about with the Broncos, just to a different level. They have the defense. That Packers defense is real. So they have the offense. The Packers at least give you glimmers of it, but it doesn't seem to ever sustain. And I would also say with your question about the NFC North, didn't everything you just say about the Packers apply to the Lions? Like, explain the Lions to me. Because there are weeks where I think, oh, they are world beaters. They are headed to Santa Clara. Watch out for this team. And then there are other weeks where I think to myself, they're just okay. They're just kind of in the middle in the NFL. Like, they didn't look great against Kansas City, walking wounded, okay. They didn't look good last week against Minnesota, but there have been weeks this year, I think, like when they blew out the Bears, where you think, oh man, no one can stop Detroit. I think everything you said about the Packers also applies to the Lions, because why are they not better than they are right now?
So far, my questions in the NFC is, can San Francisco stay healthy? Who is going to win the NFC North? And also, what to make of the Green Bay Packers that have been one of the more hot and cold Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde teams so far this season in the National Football League. Two more questions. Number one, can the Eagles get Saquon Barkley going? They are special when he's special. If you look at the month of October, so the 3 games before the Giants game, Saquon Barkley had 36 carries in those 3 games for 132 yards and didn't score a touchdown in those games. In the final game of the month against the Giants, 14 carries for 150 yards. It's the first time this season that he has run for over 100 yards. So far this season, Saquon's just been okay. He has 500 yards rushing. He's averaging 4.1 yards per carry. Last year, he averaged almost 6 yards a carry. He only has 4 touchdowns, and I'm guessing a lot of you took Saquon Barkley number 1 overall in your fantasy leagues. If Saquon doesn't get going, the Eagles cannot win the Super Bowl. Their offense works when Jalen Hurts and Saquon run the football effectively, and then it opens things up for the passing attack. So if that's the Saquon that you can expect moving forward, then the Eagles are the favorite in the NFC. If it's not, they're just one of the teams that could potentially come out of the NFC.
Let me ask you this, and maybe it's premature. Do you think it's possible Saquon might not have another one of those special seasons in him? Because
he's not so far.
His stats look pretty mediocre this season. He definitely looks regular, and the Eagles paid him this offseason to be transcendent. Now, me and you both knew he was never going to live that contract because he's a running back and there's only so many hits on your body, et cetera, et cetera. But they still anticipated him being a 1,000-yard workhorse, we can lean on him type of guy. And I remember when they gave him the contract, people were saying he's more like Derrick Henry. He's not going to age. He's so good. Man, he looks like a regular running back in the NFL. He looks like when the Eagles had Miles Sanders or worse, and that Eagles team wasn't great with Miles Sanders. So are we sure he can turn it around? I know he had the one superb season, but his Pro Football Reference page is littered with great season, injury, misses time, great season, injured, misses time. Like, are we sure he's ever going to get back to Saquon anytime soon?
Yeah, we'll certainly find that out. So that is my 4th question right now about the NFC. The last one here is about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will know everything we need to know about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when we head into Thanksgiving. Listen to the 3 games that they have coming up. Home against the Patriots, on the road against the Bills, on the road against the Rams. I mean, you can't really play a much more difficult stretch of games than those 3 ones that they have coming up. You play 3 playoff teams, 3 contending type teams in the National Football League. I like this Bucs team. I think they are one of the more fun teams to watch. They only have losses to Philadelphia and Detroit. Certainly no reason to hang your head when talking about those games. I mean, they're in a division that you should be able to gobble up wins. But you kind of got to get past this schedule, because if you get past these 3 games, if you are the Bucs, and let's say you go 2-1 in that stretch, they'll be favored in every game the rest of the way. And we could be talking about the team that ends up being the 1 seed in the NFC. So those are my 5 questions. Can San Francisco ever get healthy? Who is going to win the NFC North? Can the Eagles get Saquon Barkley back to what he was last season? What do we make of the Green Bay Packers that have been very hot and cold? And can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers navigate this 3-game stretch that they have coming up in the month of November? And if they do it, I think we're looking at potentially the best team in the National Football League. That is what I have right now as my 5 questions in the NFC.
Let me ask you a quick question about the Bucs in that stretch, and then we'll get back to the Chiefs, or I guess the Broncos in the AFC West with Bo Nix. Do the Bucs have an out? Because their injury report is littered with guys you know the name of. Bucky Irving,
for sure,
hurt. Chris Godwin, hurt.
Yeah,
Hassan Reddick, hurt. Like, Mike Evans is on IR right now. I know Vita Vea has been battling injury. Like, Hassan Reddick, like, they have a bunch of injured players. Like, you're right. We'll know all the answers by Thanksgiving, but the answers might be when healthy, the Bucs are good, but when injured, we don't know. Because I can see them going 1-2 in that stretch, 1-3 in that stretch, because they don't have their bodies. They don't have their people. Like, I could see the Patriots win this weekend against a beat-up Bucs team. I could see a Bills team taking advantage of the fact that they're the walking wounded, and then they get healthy in December and heat up. Like, I'm not as certain that we will have the answer to the question with the Bucs, because I don't think their health is going to be in place for a little bit.
Yeah, that's just kind of the National Football League and kind of how you got to navigate this thing. I'm going to say this. You trust them to potentially go on the road in some of the cold weather environments that exist. Like, you trust Tampa Bay to go on the road against Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I think a lot of it is predicated on them being at home, them having control, them being the best team in the NFC. I mean, the pathway is certainly there for Tampa Bay. You just got to navigate these injuries. You've done a decent job of it so far. Let's see if you can handle it these next 3 weeks with those games on the schedule. Let's get back to the Denver Broncos offense. Here's Stephen A. Smith on First Take.
I watched this Denver Broncos offense go 3 and out like 8 different times, punt the ball like 7 different times. And I said, my God, this looks atrocious. This is the leaders in the AFC West. Then I started remembering, wait a minute, Kansas City's a couple of games back, and they got not 1 but 2 games against Denver coming up. Now, I know this defense is real, and they're leading the league in sacks. You know, they got at least 12 to 14 sacks ahead of anybody else in the National Football League. And if you can get to the quarterback, which they can do, okay, you know that you can make things happen for yourself. And obviously, the Denver Broncos can do that, so you can't rule out the possibility that they could beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But it doesn't take away from the fact that their offenses look like straight trash. And when you think of, I'm thinking about Cortland Sutton. I'm thinking about him having like 8 catches for 121 yards over the last 3 games. Last night, 3 catches for 24 yards. I'm looking at Bo Nix complete just 56% of his passes over the last 4 games. And then I'm looking at the talent that they've got on their squad. The J.K. Dobbins, the R.J. Harveys of the world, Sutton I already mentioned, Franklin as well. You've got talent. And then I'm thinking about, this is a Super Bowl champion coach we're talking about in Sean Payton, who is known for his offensive genius, and he's the play caller. I was happy to hear him say he has to do better, because he has to do better.
You guys know that one of my favorite movies is Four Brothers. I can't even explain what it is about that movie. I just love the movie Four Brothers. And one of the lines in the movie is from Terrence Howard's character, where he says, if you keep knocking on the devil's door long enough, eventually someone's going to answer you. I think you see that happen in sports all the time. I understand that ultimately all that matters is you win these games. And no one cares how you win, just did you win the game? But we have seen enough of these teams that have walked on this very dangerous tightrope for months on end. And eventually, if you keep winning games like that, it eventually comes crashing down. And it feels like right now that's what's happening to the Broncos. They are not playing a style that you think you could navigate the AFC playoffs where you can be Buffalo, Kansas City, and Indianapolis in 3 straight weeks. Not the way that they're playing. Not what we've seen them do for the last month or so. That was one of the sloppiest wins that you could possibly have on Thursday Night Football against a team in the Las Vegas Raiders that is not a good football team. They don't have a lot of punch on offense. They certainly don't have a defense that should hold you down to 10 points at home. They don't have a defense that should hold you to 7 3-and-outs the way that they did. It just feels like right now the Broncos are playing a very dangerous game of, well, at least we won. Yeah, sure, you won. But how did you win? How did you look? Who did you beat? These are questions that you always have to answer in the postseason. Now, you play in the AFC West, you'll get a chance to answer them. It doesn't matter what I feel about the Broncos. Beat Kansas City. You beat Kansas City, you win the division. That's how this thing works. You beat the Chargers, you win the division. You got other marquee games, but you cannot be watching this Broncos team and A, feel good about them if you are a Broncos fan and how they are playing, or if you are an opponent, you can't be scared to play that Broncos team, not the way that offense is playing right now.
Couple texts on the text line, top of the text line, are pointing out everything you just said about the Broncos could be applied to the Chiefs last year. Now, I don't feel that way, and here's why.
And you and I spent last year saying, hey, something's wrong with the Chiefs, and people kept saying, shut up, they win. And then eventually it came crashing down, did it not? It took a little bit longer to came crashing down, but you don't remember how the season ended? It didn't end with them getting punched in the face by another team. I can tell you this because I remember you and I coming in here after the Chiefs narrowly beat Carolina and saying, hey, they didn't play well. Something's off with this team. This doesn't feel right. So it ain't like last year we were just patting the Chiefs on the back and saying everything was good when we could notice something was off. We noticed something was off with Kansas City. I didn't know it was a get ran out of the door in the Super Bowl, but that's like we've seen this Broncos team before. I can give you 5 teams off the top of my head that they rack up wins early in the regular season, and then when it gets cold, then when you can't supplement your schedule anymore with the cupcakes, and you got to start beating people. They then show us who they are. What makes this Broncos team different than the Steelers from a couple of years ago, that Vikings team that everybody keeps referencing? Like, what about the Broncos makes you feel good about them moving forward to when the games are about to start getting real important?
I 100% agree with you, and I actually like the text line's comparison to last year's Chiefs. You know what the difference is between last year's Chiefs and this year's Broncos team? We both in something was off with the Chiefs last year, but it always felt like Patrick Mahomes can find another gear. Can Bo Nix? And if Bo Nix finds another gear, isn't that just regular quarterbacking? Like, he looked incompetent at times last night. Like, if you're only scoring 10 points at home against that Raiders team, that's not good quarterback play in the NFL. Like, it is no way to sugarcoat it. He was bad last night, and he's been bad for a while. He was bad against the Texans. He was bad against the Jets across the pond in London. Like, Bo Nix has not been good this year. So I understand the comparison the text line is making between this year's Broncos and last year's Chiefs. They just keep getting the wins. We have to credit them for getting the win, but you point it out and go, hey, it doesn't really feel real. The difference is last year, the text line felt it, I felt it. Hey, the Chiefs aren't the same, but maybe Mahomes can elevate to that Herculean level and just, hey, it's been luck all year, but don't worry, it's going to change because I'm so great. Bo Nix cannot elevate to that level. Like, you could argue the Chiefs beat the Bills last year in the AFC title game because Patrick Mahomes is awesome. Pull the stats in that AFC title game. Bo Nix ain't doing that against good teams this year. He's just not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a perfect way of kind of describing it is, you're right with how the Chiefs played last year, right? Like, there's no question about it, and I get why people are making the comparison between the two. I would say, to your point, though, the ability for Mahomes to lock in just changes things. I mean, Mahomes didn't turn the football over in their first 2 playoff games. So if you were telling me that in the AFC Championship game, your quarterback is going to complete 70% of his passes, throw for 250 yards, run for 50 yards and score 2 rushing touchdowns and not turn the football over, if you think that Bo Nix can turn it on once the games get super important, then yeah, we can start having a very different conversation about the Broncos. I just don't trust Bo Nix's ability. Like, if this Broncos team has to go on the road to Kansas City, are you afraid of them? If Bo Nix has to go on the road to Buffalo, let's say that the Ravens end up winning their division and turning things around, you just trust Bo Nix in that scenario? Because most of the time, taking the team that has the better quarterback is usually the right play when you get to the postseason. I don't think the Broncos are going to have the better quarterback in a lot of these matchups.
Now, maybe this is me talking out of both sides of my mouth because I understand your point, but because the Broncos are 8-2, are we sure they're going to have to play those type of teams on the road? Like,
I mean, they got to start playing somebody. They play Kansas City in 2 of their next 5 games.
Kansas City, they do,
and the Chargers, and a team they've already lost to.
100%. But if they can just hold serve and keep gobbling up wins against the bad teams, maybe they get a slip up from the Chargers, Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, along the way. Ravens, I don't think are in a conversation to host a playoff game, or at least not against the Broncos. Like, I don't think Bo Nix is a very good quarterback, but if he's playing at home as a 2 seed with that defense, it's much more formidable. Like, I saw an elite Broncos defense with mediocre quarterback play win a Super Bowl once. I don't think Bo Nix can be Peyton Manning, but if you're playing games at Mile High Stadium, it's cold in that raucous environment, and they have that defense, it's not impossible to believe they can win a game or 2 in the postseason. I don't think they're Super Bowl good, but if you're a Broncos fan, all you got to do is get home playoff games, and you feel like you have a puncher's chance. Because I agree, Bo Nix on the road will be exposed, but I'm not sure Bo Nix is head on the road this postseason because they're the 2 seed right now?
I mean, someone on the text line asked the question. So, seed out. If the Broncos beat the Chiefs 32-24, then what? I'm telling you right now, if the Kansas City Chiefs, who are going to be relatively healthy coming off a bye week, knowing how important this game is, if they lose this game to the Denver Broncos, you guys will be annoyed because it will be a week of, are the Chiefs making the playoffs? That's what it'll be. It'll be a week of them. The Chiefs have never lost a game like that in the Patrick Mahomes era. Not back up against the wall, healthy team, we gotta have it kind of game. They do not lose those kind of games. Now, there's a first time for everything, so we'll obviously see how it plays itself out. But just watching this Broncos team over the last 3 weeks, they have scored 28 points against Houston and Vegas. There's nothing inspiring me about this Broncos team to pick them. Maybe it's the eye test, the field test. Maybe I am being hypocritical when it comes to this. But the Broncos don't have the Chiefs kind of track record when it comes to this, and just how they've looked these last couple of weeks. If Kansas City's defense lets Bo Nix score for 32 points against them, again, we got to start having some real uncomfortable conversations here coming up in a couple of weeks about this Chiefs team and what in the world was going on when you had 14 days to prepare for this Broncos team. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, let me tell you guys about our friends over at The Other Place. So right now, you might not be able to get all the games at your house, but you know who's got all the games? Our friend over at The Other Place. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch Kansas, North Carolina, if you're looking for a place to watch college football this weekend, if you're looking for a place to watch the pros, all while having some great game day specials and great beer specials, then stop by and see our friends over at The Other Place with 5 locations around town. If you're looking for a great game day atmosphere, a place to catch all the games, they make some of the best pizza in town. They've been doing that for 25 years. And your home for football and all things sports, go see our friends over at The Other Place.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu? Is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Looking for a better car buying experience? At Victory Ford, we do things differently. Friendly, knowledgeable people who actually listen. Clear, upfront pricing with no games or gimmicks, and financing that fits your life. Whether you're hunting a rugged truck, a family SUV, or a fuel-smart commuter, our team walks you through every option so you drive away confident. Got a trade? We pay top dollar. No haggling, just a fair, honest offer so your next ride is within reach. Need financing? Our excellent financing specialists work with multiple lenders to get you competitive terms even if your credit isn't perfect. We're easy to get to from anywhere in the city, conveniently located at the Legends in KCK, just off 435 and Parallel Parkway, down the street from the Kansas Speedway and Nebraska Furniture Mart. Stop by, take a test drive, and feel the difference of a dealership that treats you like a neighbor. Visit us today at the Legends in KCK or victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening, because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend Shields, Guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law, still working the crash near Shawnee. 35 southbound as you approach 635. Right lane is blocked. Near downtown, that's a stall in the right lane. 71 northbound, just past 22nd. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Rob, do you collect anything? Are you a collector of something?
I used to collect jerseys, but I kind of stopped doing that. Not really anymore, no.
Okay, I ask you that because we are giving away a limited edition bobblehead. So I would encourage you right now to go to 965thefan.com for your team or your chance to win an exclusive limited edition KC Current bobblehead of star forward. Rob, make sure I pronounce this correctly. Timwa Shawinga. Is that how you pronounce the woman's name?
Nailed it. Absolutely
Okay,
nailed
all right.
it.
I want to be
Perfect.
sure.
No
That's
notes.
the first time I practiced that. I just want to make sure that I'm saying it correctly. Shout out to her. She's their best player. She has a bobblehead. I have one. It's beautiful. Presented by H&R Block, celebrating 70 years of tax expertise with hometown roots in the soccer capital of America. Get you a Timwa Shawingwa bobblehead. Shawinga. That's how you pronounce it. Shout out to her. I know every time I look up and I watch the Current, she's scoring all the goals. So I know she's pretty good.
She is a goal-scoring machine.
Okay. Shout out to her. Shout out to the Current. I tell you guys that because, you know, we support women's sports on this show. We support soccer on this show. We support the Current on this show. So I got a chance to catch up with Allie Sentner earlier today. You guys might remember Allie Sentner. We had her on the show a couple of weeks ago. She's 21 years old. I asked her what's her favorite Denzel Washington movie, and she said she didn't have one. Now, you guys gave her a pass for that because you said she's too young. So I asked her this time, does she have a favorite Will Smith movie? Let's see what her answer is.
That's a good question. I would say King Richard so far.
Okay, all right. See, I'm just happy that you at least offered up a movie. I'll give you King Richard. So me and Rob, you just talked to Rob. We were talking about this, that we were going back and forth. Is there a movie that makes you cry? Now, I'll tell you, the movie that gets me, doesn't get me every time, but Invincible. Just seeing how he overcame his situation to play in the National Football League. I watched it during COVID, and it caught me. It caught me on the right moment that I shed a couple of tears. I didn't all out cry, but I shed a couple of tears. Allie, do you have a movie that makes you cry? Is there a movie that gets you emotional?
I have two. I would go Marley and Me, obviously, and then probably Me Before You.
Okay, I've never heard of this Me Before You. Tell us what this movie's about.
It's about this woman who goes to be an aide for a very successful businessman that was paralyzed, and it's kind of a love story. It's very sad, but it's really good.
Okay, so you like Marley and Me, so you have to be a little bit of a dog person. Are you a big dog or a small dog person?
Big dog. My family has a golden retriever that's about 100 pounds. His name's Leo, and he's the best.
How did he get the name Leo? Did you name him after Leonardo DiCaprio? How did you come on this name?
No, we're going to go with Leo Messi. I wasn't allowed to name the dog Messi, but my family said that Leo was okay.
Okay, that's actually a really good story. Right now we're talking to Allie Sintner. She plays for the Current. They got a game coming up against Gotham FC. So we have this debate on the show all the time. I don't think that Batman is a superhero, and this is why. He doesn't have a superpower, and he wasn't, like, born that way or turned into that. Like, Peter Parker was not a superhero, but he got bit by a spider, and then he became a superhero. I just think that Batman is some rich person that does karate in his free time. Where are you at on Batman? Do you think he's a superhero?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I'm a Spider-Man fan, so love Spider-Man. That you make a really solid point there about Batman. I might have to take that take as well.
Okay, when you see Spider-Man, like, what actor comes to your mind? Are you a Tom Holland Spider-Man, or are you going Tobey Maguire or somebody else?
I'm a Tom Holland Spider-Man.
We also had this debate on the show because my producer, Rob, he already has his Christmas tree up. Now, I believe that Christmas starts after the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving. Anything before that, you're doing a whole lot. When do you think Christmas season officially starts?
I'm an after Thanksgiving girl. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday, so I need to give it its respected time and space to celebrate it, and then the tree can go up after.
All right, you guys are turning on the Plaza lights. How excited are you about that?
It's just so incredible to, see all the teal and red across the city and have all of our fans, wearing our little bracelets. So honestly, it's really cool to see the community rally around us, and we're excited to put on a show this weekend.
So everybody's hometown has a Christmas tradition. Where you're from, what are you guys' Christmas tradition?
Well, right now my family's going on trips over Christmas, but previously, and still to this day, we watch A Christmas Story every single Christmas day.
So, Allie, we've been asking people this question. I have not been to 1587. Have you been to 1587 Prime?
No, I have not had the honor of going to 1587 yet, but I would love to.
So whenever you get your steak, how are you getting your steak cooked?
Medium and with, all the butter and the fixins.
What sides do you usually get?
I love just a garlic mashed potato and some green beans or broccoli.
So if you weren't playing soccer, what would you be doing? Like when you were 13 years old, obviously soccer was your plan A. What was your plan B? What was your fallback plan if soccer didn't work out?
Yeah, I always thought I would do something in the PT or nutrition field because that always was very interesting to me as an athlete, so maybe something there.
So I just got one of your teammates' bobblehead. They just gave it to us earlier today. I was looking for the Allie Sintner bobblehead. I want one of yours. Do you have a bobblehead?
I don't have a bobblehead yet. Temma was the first bobblehead, as she should be, but but maybe they'll make some more of some more KC Current players soon.
Yeah, of course. I got to get an Allie Sintner one for the desk here. We're talking to Allie Sintner. She plays for the KC Current. They got a game coming up this weekend against Gotham FC. My least favorite subject in school was science. What was yours?
Ooh, my least favorite subject was probably art class.
I was the least artistic kid ever. I was bad at art, too.
Yeah.
What was your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject in school is probably math because I was pretty good at it, but also science. I love all the experiments and the exploding volcanoes and all that.
A couple more questions here for Allie Sintner. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and A Christmas Story.
I love A Christmas Story. I'm happy to know that the kids are still watching A Christmas Story because I was a little bit worried that was one that we lost. But you telling me that you like A Christmas Story, that warms my heart.
No, it is alive and well.
That is Allie Sintner joining us on the show. Be sure to check her out this weekend as KC Current. They have a game against Gotham FC. Allie, good luck. We're pulling for you here on The Drive.
Thank you so much.
Rob, who's Spider-Man to you? You're a Marvel guy. You're a Spider-Man individual. Who's Spider-Man? Because Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire.
I think Tom Holland has played it better. When I think Spider-Man, I think of Tobey Maguire.
He's played it better? What?
Tobey Maguire played Spider-Man. I was in high school. He was like 27 years old. Tom Holland was literally of age, correct age for Spider-Man. Then if I was like, hey, when you think of Superman, they had a geriatric out there, you'd be like, that doesn't make any sense.
Who's Batman to you?
Christian Bale.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's who I think's Batman, too.
I think he's been the best Batman.
Yeah, you know my theory on Batman.
You just hate Batman.
I don't think it matters who plays Batman. I really don't. I don't think it matters who plays Batman.
I mean, you can do it wrong. George Clooney was bad at it.
Yes, because the villains were whack. I tell you, Batman's not interesting. Batman's villains are interesting. That's what makes him interesting. Batman's not an interesting character. That's why the one Batman movie we all love, the best one, it has the best villain. That's why. But no, Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. I'm not going to let you Tom Holland. Who was the guy they had play in the middle? It wasn't like Andrew Garfield. Wasn't that who they had?
No one says Andrew Garfield.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm just asking. Didn't they have him play Spider-Man for like a couple of weeks? I don't know why they did that. That was a waste of everybody's time. That was basically them trying to remake the first Spider-Man movie. We didn't need this movie.
Correct.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to Thursday Night Football. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Problems as you're heading into Shawnee. Now, the wrecker's on the scene, so it'll be cleared here pretty soon. In the meantime, there are backups. 35 southbound as you approach 635, right lane block. Downtown KC, that's a crash. 71 northbound, just past 22nd off to the right shoulder. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Hello, Crushers. It's your host, DJ Divine, telling you that Candy Crush music season is here. Tasty. Conquer levels to mix your own track and win sweet rewards. Divine. Now let's swipe to the next track. Take it away, Thundercat. Candy Crush music season. Play now. From November 3rd to December 7th, selected players level 36+. Terms apply. See in-game. Optional in-game purchases.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, Any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you'd find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
All right, we got some breaking news right now. Kansas State running back Dylan Edwards is going to redshirt, and he is going to miss the remainder of the 2025 season. That is being reported right now by On3 Sports. So they are reporting that Dylan Edwards is done for the rest of the year. Now, some of this, I admittedly don't have all the information in the world. So if I say anything out of turn, K-State fans, you can certainly correct me. 913-586-7965. I am all for players having the ability to transfer. But I kind of look at Dylan Edwards as an example of, hey, maybe we got to rope this thing in a little bit. I think that Dylan Edwards is done playing football at Kansas State University. You are not redshirting as a junior in 2025 to maintain your eligibility if you are not planning on leaving at the end of this. So far in Dylan Edwards' career, he committed to Notre Dame. He then decommitted from Notre Dame and then went to Colorado. That's fine. Kids commit and decommit all the time. He went to Colorado. He had okay success as a true freshman. He then made the decision to leave Colorado and then go to Kansas State. Last year at K-State, he had a pretty good year. He had 500 yards, had 7.4 yards per carry. It is now his turn to be the man. Injuries, whatever is going on behind the scenes, this year at K-State has not gone the way that anybody anticipated it. But this decision tells me that he and the team, front office, coaching staff, whatever term you want to use now with college sports, they are not on the same page. And I expect to get a tweet coming in very, very soon that Dylan Edwards has hit the transfer portal and he is going somewhere else. Are we sure that he's going to stay in a high major? Because this to me just seems like a group of 5 school kid. And that's not because of his ability, but it didn't work in Colorado for whatever reason. I mean, the K-State idea, there is not a program that wanted you more than Kansas State. You're from Derby. You get to pair up with the other hometown kid. You and Avery Johnson, let's try to win the Big 12. Let's try to go to the college football playoff. It is falling apart. I mean, he is about to go somewhere else. This just seems like a kid that's about to be at Tulane. This just feels like a kid that's about to be at Boise State or one of those kind of schools at the end of the year. This thing has gone very, very poorly and didn't go how anybody wanted it to go at K-State. I don't know how much of it is on him. I don't know how much of it is the people around him, the university, any of that. But the fact that he has jumped around like this, and I mean, he's been cool so far, but he certainly isn't worth all of this, really makes you wonder what's going on with Dylan Edwards.
I am far from a recruiting expert, and I don't pretend to understand what's going on with him or anything, but it seems like he's definitely redshirting to preserve his eligibility to go somewhere else. That's how it feels from an outsider looking in.
I mean, that's 100% what is happening. That's not what feels like it happens. You are not the kind of prospect, and K-State spent the amount of NIL, I imagine, to keep Dylan Edwards. You just make the decision when K-State is trying to make a bowl game, oh, yeah, we're going to redshirt. You are transferring at the end of this.
100%. That's 100% how it feels. And you're right. I don't know that he's a Power 5 running back after this. And that's not an insult to his ability, but at the same time, like if you open his college football reference page and you look at his stats, is that a guy where I'm just picking random Power 5 schools. If you're Iowa, if you're Indiana, if you're the U, if you're, Auburn, are you being like, oh, we got to get this kid in? Like, he had some moments at Colorado. He had some moments last year as a backup to DJ Giddens at Kansas State, but he played, I guess, a quarter this season and has been iced down basically ever since. Is that a guy that ends up at, Alabama at the end of the season? I mean, it definitely feels like a guy who finished his career at Middle Tennessee State. It just how it feels from outside looking in.
Would you take him at KU?
No. Not because of talent, but if you're at 5 schools in 4 years, if you include his decommit and recommit to Notre Dame, like that's not a player I want at Kansas.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Would you take him to Missouri?
No. I mean, they have Hardy coming back next year, and Jamal Roberts. Like
I forgot Hardy comes back.
There's not a space for him at Missouri.
I forgot Hardy. I thought Hardy was a junior. That's my fault.
Yeah, no, there's just no space for him at Missouri. But I mean,
if there was space, would you take him?
But honestly, a program like KU, these are the kind of kids that KU's got to take a chance on.
I agree.
A high major kid who has not worked that you could get in the transfer portal, and there's no way that Dylan Edwards has a lot of buying power now. Like, you're not overpaying for Dylan Edwards, but if he can stay healthy, I mean, he's never given you 100 carries in a season. We don't know how good or how not good Dylan Edwards is. He hasn't played enough to really give us that answer. What do 200 carries look like for Dylan Edwards? Maybe he's a legit back, but you couldn't stay healthy this year. It looks to me like you made the decision or somebody around you made the decision that you're done playing football this year, and then you're going to evaluate your options at the end of the season. I just think that option is going to send you somewhere else because that's just kind of the climate we live in right now.
Let me ask you this, though, because it's a fair question to say, hey, KU should take a chance on a guy who didn't work out at some high majors but clearly has talent. Isn't that the exact same logic K-State used when they had him? Because he was I actually think he originally committed to K-State out of high school, then Notre Dame, then Colorado, played at Colorado. That's a high major. It didn't work at Colorado. Then K-State picked him up. Are you taking a twice didn't work Power 5 guy at Kansas? Like that's even a bigger stick your neck out for a kid type of move. Like, I'm not saying Lance Leipold and co won't recruit him. He's a Kansas kid, and maybe recruiting analysts tell me he's super talented and all those things you just said.
You at least got to put an inquiry if you're KU, in my opinion. You at least got to put a phone call in. You got to find out what's going on.
But there's an interest in putting a phone call in and being like, we're forking up the money to get 100%. Dylan Edwards. Those are two different conversations. I'd kick the tires, but if he starts asking for the money he's received, presumably at his last 2 stops, I would say thank you, but no thank you.
I want to read to you guys a stat. So this is from Aaron Schatz. He is with Football Outsiders. They're like an analytical, kind of like Pro Football Focus, but a little bit different. So they have the percentages on what a Broncos win would mean next week and what a Chiefs win would mean in regards to winning your division. So if the Chiefs win next week, that would give the Chiefs a 51% chance of winning the AFC West, Denver a 37% chance, and the Chargers an 11% chance. Makes a lot of sense. If the Chiefs can go on the road and steal the road game from the Broncos, it puts you in the driver's seat. Now, this is what it means if the Broncos win the game against the Chiefs. If the Broncos win the game, Football Outsiders believes that gives the Broncos an 82% chance at winning the division. It gives the Chiefs a 9% chance, and it gives the Chargers a 9% chance. Next week is a playoff game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I understand if you are not worried and all you think is if you just get into the postseason, get healthy, and get right, we'll take our chances with 15 against anybody. I'm not saying that is a wrong stance to have, but look at the percentage. If you're somebody who believes in win probability in these things, I mean, that is a 30% difference according to their models. It is hard to find the math. We like the electoral college example sometimes on this show. It's hard to find the votes if you lose this state. If you go on the road and you lose this game to the Broncos, they're 9-2 and you're 5-5. You got to tell me the pathway in which you think Kansas City wins the AFC West, because it is really, really difficult to come up with that pathway. But if they win this, you now have really broken the advantage that they have over you, and now you just got to take care of your business the rest of the way. That's why I made the point earlier, Rob, when we're talking about this. There is not really much of a track record in the Patrick Mahomes era of them losing this kind of game. Aside from the Chiefs and Andy Reid and his record after a bye and how overwhelming that is. But when the Chiefs have needed a regular season game at any point over the last 8 years, they have won that game every single time. When they have desperately, hey, you got to get this one, they win it. So history, track record, benefit of the doubt, whatever you want to say. This is the most important regular season game that the Chiefs have played in a very, very long time next week against the Broncos.
I would also say, I know the stats agree with this, and me and you, the I just agree with this. Not only do the Chiefs never seem to lose this game, Andy Reid after a bye never seems to have a slip-up to a team that you presume is less than them. I know things were weird last year against the Broncos, and the year before that, I think it was 2 years ago, the Broncos with Russell Wilson beat the Chiefs. Like, things have been weird in Denver for Kansas City, and, you know, Denver has been living very, very, very lucky this season, but it's just, after a bye, a super important game, team really healthy again, coming off a bad loss, not bad like embarrassing, but bad like for their standings in the race, it feels like the Chiefs have a chance to make a statement, because if they lose, the AFC West is done. Now, you said it earlier, if they lose, we're going to have playoff watch talks in Kansas City for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era.
It will be impossible to avoid those conversations if they lose.
You have to have, even this show will have to have them.
If you are 5-5 in week 12, we got to talk about it. And I know the text line, we start being negative. I'm sorry. We got to look at facts. We got to look at the numbers at some point if the Chiefs lose this game. Let me give you a couple of stats before we're joined by Ryan Edwards. Last night, the Raiders did everything humanly possible to lose that game. They threw an interception. They had a punt block. They had 9 penalties. One of those penalties wiped out a touchdown. They also missed a field goal. They lost 10-7. I mean, one of the sloppiest, worst played Thursday night football games that we've had in quite some time. I also saw this stat. It was the 6th game that the Broncos have won where Bo Nix has had a passer rating that's below a 70. It's the 6th time it's happened. He did not play well yesterday, and they figured out a way to win. So, and the Broncos defense has been fantastic, and they took advantage of a team that they made every single mistake possible. Like, we got to get an investigation going with the Raiders. They had point shaving yesterday. They did everything you could. Big return, hold, touchdown, pick play, pass interference, punt block, interception. Just sloppy, bad football yesterday by the Raiders, and that got them beat 10-7. Coming up on the other side, we're going to head to Denver, Colorado, and be joined by Ryan Edwards with the Broncos Flagship Network. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. You know, confidence is key. You hear that all the time when it comes to everything in your life. The players that we watch and all the winning that we see comes from players who are confident and are able to deliver when it matters most. What if you could be more confident where it counts? I'm talking about Blue Chew. They provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Day nights just got longer and better for everyone. Be ready when she is. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. This isn't just about performance. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's an offer for you there. You get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 in shipping. That's it. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Looking for a better car buying experience? At Victory Ford, we do things differently. Friendly, knowledgeable people who actually listen. Clear, upfront pricing with no games or gimmicks, and financing that fits your life. Whether you're hunting a rugged truck, a family SUV, or a fuel-smart commuter, our team walks you through every option so you drive away confident. Got a trade? We pay top dollar. No haggling, just a fair, honest offer so your next ride is within reach. Need financing? Our excellent financing specialists work with multiple lenders to get you competitive terms even if your credit isn't perfect. We're easy to get to from anywhere in the city, conveniently located at the Legends in KCK, just off 435 and Parallel Parkway, down the street from the Kansas Speedway and Nebraska Furniture Mart. Stop by, take a test drive, and feel the difference of a dealership that treats you like a neighbor. Visit us today at the Legends in KCK or VictoryFordKC.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
FanDuel Friday is turning it up with NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all designed to bring that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo, it's your weekly pregame. NBA Happy Hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to grab your reward before the clock expires. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions supply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, it's Brian Balding here. Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. Makita tools at the Home Depot are built with precision. Without shortcuts, Makita delivers results that reward hard work. Year after year, designed for the toughest jobs. It's a choice for pros who invest in performance, not just tools. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Crash to deal with on 435 southbound just past 70. Left lane is blocked. In downtown, that crash is still there blocking the right lane. 71 northbound past 22nd. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you on this wonderful Friday. Let's head to Denver, Colorado to be joined by Ryan Edwards. He is with KOA in Denver. They're the Broncos flagship station. The Broncos currently sit at 8-2, but boy, do I have some questions about them. Ryan, happy to have you on the show today.
Oh, it's great, man. Appreciate it.
So let's just start with this. What happened on Thursday Night Football? Because I was going into it saying Thursdays are weird, and I thought the spread was a little bit big. But it was even more disappointing than I had anticipated. That was just not a clean effort. That was not a great game by the Broncos by any means. What did you see for them on Thursday Night Football?
I actually agree with you on all points, really. I kind of said the same thing we were doing the pregame, and it's just like, man, this is a divisional game. It's a short week. You sort of felt with the vibe of the team. I mean, they find ways to win games, and I thought from a talent perspective on paper, you take the Broncos over the Raiders, but it just sort of felt like one of those games. It's like, I don't know, man. People keep thinking that the Broncos offense is going to really blow up this Raiders defense, but they're playing desperate, and the Broncos are going to have to match that somehow. So, yeah, the offense certainly had a bad night. Defensively, I mean, what can you say? They're incredible, right? I mean, it's pretty unbelievable to watch that. But, yeah, the offense, I just, a couple of bad games in a row here. You have the Texans game, you have this game. I think that, and it's not an excuse, but I do think that they're sort of mentally, maybe physically fatigued. Like I said, I don't think it's going to sound like a good excuse, especially in pro football, but they opted not to have a bye week after the London trip. So they came right back. They went right back into the games. And they've had a lot of these fourth-quarter comebacks, and where you say that's impressive that they're able to close out these games or find a way to come back in these games, there's a toll that it takes. And I think you're seeing sort of the result of that. So I think this mini-bye, even though you got the Chiefs on the other side of it, I think it's really good for them as a little bit of a reset. But there's no denying the fact that last night was an ugly performance from the offense. But once again, this is just what they are this year. They find ways, even creative ways, to close out games.
Right now, we're talking to Ryan Edwards. He's with the Broncos flagship station, KOA, out in Denver, talking about the Broncos as they sit at currently 8-2 atop the AFC West. So we have been asking this question. Do you think the Broncos are good? And for the most part, I've been kind of on the fence. And then I kind of came around. Hey, this is a good football team. You got to respect the record. You got to respect what they've put together. I mean, since that win on the road against Philadelphia, they have a 2-point win against the Jets, a 1-point win against the Giants, a 3-point win against Houston, and then that Thursday night performance. I feel like I'm firmly on this team isn't real. I feel like a lot of people have made comparisons to the Vikings from a couple of years ago. We've kind of seen these teams where everything just breaks right. This just doesn't look or feel like an actual Super Bowl contender to me.
Well, and listen, I mean, we'll find out, right? I think there's 7 more games to get a sense of who they are. And, they played some really good football last year down the stretch. They played in some high-scoring games where the offense really did have to pull their weight. And I get that a lot. I did the post-game for the Broncos, and I get that a lot as well. Like, this performance wouldn't beat, whether it's the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Bills, any of the elite teams in the AFC. And I say, well, the reality of it is you only have to do enough to beat the team in front of you that day. And really, that's kind of what the league is. And we'll worry about December and January when it gets there. What you want to do is give yourself enough wins in the regular season to get to that point where you can find out who you are. But, yeah, I mean, to your point as far as the whole fraudulent stuff and everything like that, it's like, hey, we'll see. I mean, Bo Nix right now is second in the NFL in passing touchdowns. I think that kind of gets, and you're saying, well, okay, but, and then sure, there's a button there for sure. I mean, his quarterback rating, all those kinds of things. But he's tied with Justin Herbert in second with touchdown passes. He's only taken 10 sacks on the season. Their running game has been a top 5 running game. It was 7th going into last night's game, but it's been a top 5 running game. So they have some things they can lean on, but it's just too inconsistent. And the fact is, relying on a fourth quarter comeback, especially when you get later into the year, that's probably not sustainable. They know that. But what they look at is we can continue to work on the finer points because we're doing the hard thing well right now, which is closing games. That tends to be the harder thing. The first 3 quarters, you can work on those things. I think they believe they'll come around on it.
Let's talk about Bo Nix. Something just feels a little bit off. I hear what you're saying about the touchdown passes, and I don't want to discredit it. But last year he had a 93 quarterback rating. It currently is at an 85. This offense has just really struggled to get going. What are you seeing from the Broncos' young QB?
He looks a little hesitant. I mean, he looked hesitant last night. There's no denying that. I mean, he just wasn't reading the field. I wouldn't say that that's pretty typical of him, though, most of the season. Although you could say for the first 3 quarters, maybe this is more typical, and then the fourth quarter suddenly he's Joe Montana out there. But yeah, there's this switch that he flips when there's urgency, and it almost seems like he needs the desperation to drive him. And I don't think you want to do that, but if there's some way you can trick his brain into thinking about it a little earlier like that, then maybe there's, we can do some hypnosis or something. I don't know. But people will say like sophomore slump. I don't think we're going through a sophomore slump. I think that Sean Payton's put a lot on his plate. I think that there's some disconnect happening with the receivers. They're second in the league in drops right now behind the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, and maybe that gives more credence to the people out there saying the Broncos should have been more active at the trade deadline. I think they just didn't like the price tag of the receivers that were out there. So that's something you'll probably look in the offseason. But, right now there's a multifunction reason why the offense struggles. Like there'll be one game where, hey, the tight ends are really struggling to block, or the offensive line is not doing their part on a couple of things. And then, and then it's Bo Nix with some inaccurate passes, and there's some drops. And it just seems like everybody takes turns on this offense making mistakes at critical times. But again, they all sort of figure it out in the fourth quarter, and they find ways to win.
2 final things, Ryan. First off, the Broncos appear to have everything. They have a very good offensive line. I like their run game. They've got good weapons in the passing game. They might have the best defense in the NFL. Do you feel like their quarterback is the thing that's holding them back? I feel like we've been at this place before with the Broncos where they seem to have everything in place and they don't have the QB to get you over the hump. Do you think that Bo Nix could possibly be the hindrance to them being that Super Bowl contending team and possibly representing the AFC?
I wouldn't say that today, but, I mean, it's going to be a fair conversation if they have another first-round exit, and it's in part because the offense doesn't carry their weight. Like last year, they got blown out by Buffalo, right? I mean, they threw that. He had the early touchdown to Troy Franklin, and that was like the best moment of the game, and then it was just a rout. So if you have another repeat of that, that drum will be a little louder. I mean, I have people in my mentions today, and I had people on Broncos React last night saying things like that, like, hey, this is the thing that's going to hold us back. And it's like, you got 7 more games. Give yourself an opportunity to let this breathe a little bit. It's an emotional thing coming off of a win. They won last night, reminder. A win, but the way that it was won, especially the way the offense played, it doesn't feel good, and I can understand that. So today I'm not really willing to say that, but I could see how if they have another disappointing loss, especially if they do win the AFC West, and they have a disappointing home loss, then that drumbeat will get louder.
Right now, we're talking to Ryan Edwards with KOA in Denver, the Denver Broncos flagship station, talking about their win on Thursday Night Football against the Raiders 10-7, also looking ahead to their matchup next week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Ryan, I don't have to tell you, this is as important of a divisional regular season game that I think you could potentially have. So this number comes from Football Outsiders. So, Ryan, if Kansas City wins, that gives them a 51% chance of winning the AFC West, and the Broncos have a 37% chance, according to Football Outsiders. If the Broncos win next week, it gives them an 82% chance, and it gives Kansas City a 9% chance in winning the division. You can't have a much more important regular season game, not at this stage of the season, than next week Chiefs-Broncos.
I completely agree. And, I mean, it doesn't end the season. I think both teams are ticketed for the postseason either way. But the Broncos stated, Sean Payton stated this in his end-of-year press conference, that they're coming for the AFC West. And it's like, all right, well, hey, listen, there's this team in Kansas City that I'm sure you've heard of that just pretty much owns this division. So, bold statement. Let's see what you do to back it up. And so far, he has. I mean, they're 8-2. They're a couple of late field goals away from being undefeated. Also, you could point to the Giants and all the other games that they came back and won by the skin of their teeth. But the point of it is, they have put themselves in position to do this. And so I imagine that's going to be the mindset. He's going to give these guys a reset over the weekend, but then it's going to be all about the Chiefs because then the Broncos have the bye on the other side of this. So there's a little bit of a carrot, I think, out there for the Broncos of, hey, let's put everything we have into this game. On the other side, you guys can have a break. We get mental reset, physical reset, but we got to get this game because you're not going to be certainly guaranteed an opportunity to win at Arrowhead on Christmas. So, yeah, it's a massive game. I know the Chiefs probably understand that. We all know what Andy Reid's record is after bye weeks. That's been pointed out to me multiple times already this morning. So it's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you ready to pick a winner in the AFC West? Are you ready to call it for the Broncos, or you need a little bit more evidence? You're waiting and seeing until what happens next Sunday, Chiefs-Broncos.
Oh, I got the Broncos in the AFC West, man. I mean, you got a 2-game lead on you guys. But, listen, I think it's going to be a fun close to the season. Chiefs are certainly overall playing much, much better. There's no denying that fact. But this defense, man, there's something to it. And they did all of this over the last 2 weeks without Pat Surtain. They were with a limited Drake Greenlaw, which is a big factor in this because he was signed to kind of bolster and improve some of their coverage there with the linebacking core. Plus, he's a heat-seeking missile. So they're going to be healthier. I don't know if Pat's going to be available for the Chiefs game or not, but Dre's going to have some more snaps available to him there. I like the Broncos' chances right now with that 2-game lead. I go ahead and bet on that.
That is Ryan Edwards joining us on the show. He is with KOA in Denver, Colorado. He is part of the Denver Broncos flagship. Ryan, I'm sure we'll catch up with you next week. These two play, the most important game that they've probably played in a decade, man. Look forward to catching up with you, man. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. That's Ryan Edwards, who covers the Broncos. Taking a closer look at the Broncos, there are a couple things that kind of stand out to me. The first thing that stands out to me about the Broncos is I think they have everything that you need. I like the Broncos' run game. Now we'll see what happens with J.K. Dobbins, who's been very, very good this season. We're talking about a guy who is in line to run 4,000 yards, averaging 5 yards a carry. He has had a very, very good start to his year. I think R.J. Harvey's been a capable number 2 back. If he needs to carry the load for the next couple of weeks, I think he is more than capable of doing it. If you look at the rest of their team, pass-catching option-wise, I think they're good. Cortland Sutton's a good receiver. Troy Franklin, Mims, I think they're capable at tight end. I think you can argue they have the best defense in the National Football League. There are a lot of things to like about this Broncos team. The only thing to not like about them is their quarterback. He's just been bad. He's 29th in completion percentage. He's 29th in yards per attempt. He's 30th in quarterback rating so far this season. For all the things that the Broncos have done to give Bo Nix the things, the offensive line, the head coach, the running backs, all of the things, he hasn't taken a step forward. He will be the reason that they lose in the postseason. He has gotten off to really, really slow starts, and you can do that against the Jets. You can do that against the Raiders or some of the teams that they've played in the last month. You cannot play as poorly as the Broncos have played in the first half of these games in the last month and think you're doing that against Kansas City, think you're doing that against Buffalo, think you're doing that against Pittsburgh. You lose those games if you're the Broncos. So that's the first thing I look at when it comes to Denver. And the next thing when looking at their schedule, now maybe the Broncos just avoid this season. That's possible, right? They have won every game they're supposed to. It's the National Football League. You don't win every game you're supposed to. Their 2 losses are to the Colts and the Chargers on the road. Those aren't losses to hang your head down. You lost on a last-second field goal on both of those games. I'm looking at a game like against Washington. That's a game that you would think after a bye week you're the favorite, but you're on the road. It's a Sunday night football game. Do you win that game? Let's see what's happening with Jaden Daniels if he's healthy. On the road against the Raiders. You just played them sloppy at home. It's on the road. It's a divisional opponent. Could you lose that game? You got home against Jacksonville. That feels like a prime look-ahead spot, kind of like this game was. I told you, I said, Thursday Night Football is weird. You think, that team's going to easily win that game. No, it's random. They play the Jacksonville game on the Sunday right before the Thursday Christmas Day game. That might be the most important game of the season. You could probably argue that or Bills and Patriots in the AFC East. I'm sure the Ravens and the Steelers. You get the point that I'm making here. The Broncos right now have cashed every ticket they're supposed to. What happens if the Broncos hit a little bit of a rough patch or start to lose these 50-50 games that they have hit every single time so far this season? What if the coin flips on the other side and now you pick up a couple of losses that you probably weren't supposed to, that you were the favorite?
That is going to be the million-dollar question, because much like me and you, or like me and you were saying last year, and Chiefs fans didn't want to hear it, it seems statistically improbable that you are perfect in one-score games. The ball bounces a different direction, a kicker pushes it a little bit wide right, like pull a little left. It doesn't matter. You end up losing a game. So I don't know that the Broncos are real because Bo Nix isn't real, but I do know that what they're doing in these one-score games is not sustainable. And I would say what they're doing in these one-score games is less sustainable than Kansas City did last year, because if you really put their wins under a microscope, it's not, hey, they held on in a close game back and forth with a good team. It's like they needed a miracle against the Giants. They needed some late work in London against the Jets. Those are two teams we think very little of. So I think regression is coming for Denver, and with their quarterback play, regression could hit really, really hard.
Earlier today in the show, I gave you guys my 5 questions about the NFC. Let me give you my 5 questions about the AFC. Hit the music! All right, let's take a closer look at the AFC East. It is down to the Bills. It is down to the Dolphins. I have told you guys that if Buffalo doesn't get the 1 seed, they are going to regret it for the entirety of Josh Allen's career. This schedule was designed. It was designed for the Bills to have the 1 seed. They play this Dolphins team that should have fired its head coach a couple of weeks ago. They got a home game against Tampa Bay. Who knows how healthy Tampa Bay is going to be? Who also knows what the weather is going to be like in the middle of November in Buffalo? They play a couple of road games. On the road against Houston, on the road against Pittsburgh. I don't want to make it seem like those are 2 automatic wins, but 2 teams that I think Buffalo is better than. And then they got their most important game of the season. They go on the road against New England coming up in about a month, a game they absolutely need to win because they already lost the home game to the New England Patriots. I still think Buffalo is going to win their division. I still think Buffalo is going to be in the conversation of the 1 seed, but we didn't think we'd be having this conversation about the AFC East. It's a conversation. Who's going to be the winner of that division?
Let me ask you a question you've been asking every guest about the Broncos.
And really quickly here, sorry to cut you off here, though. I'm guessing the loser of that division is probably going to be the 5 seed, and that's not the team I would want as the wild card team. If you were telling me that you got Buffalo coming to town or this Patriots team coming to town as an 11-12 win team, that's not the game if I'm the Ravens, who could potentially end up being the 4 seed, and we'll talk about that here more specifically in another question. That is not the wild card team draw I would want.
Let me ask you this, because you asked about the Broncos a bunch, and I think this is a different team, but I think it's a fair question to ask. Do you think the Patriots are legit? Do you think the Patriots are real? Because if you think the Patriots are even a little bit real, it's hard to imagine them giving up this lead in the division. They got, 2 games, plus they've already won in Buffalo, and their schedule is soft down the stretch. If you think the Patriots are real, I think you kind of have to assume the Patriots are going to win the AFC East at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm also looking at it. I mean, they go on the road and play Tampa Bay. That's a big game that I could see them losing. They go on the road and play Cincinnati. Now, I don't think Cincinnati is great, but it's also the National Football League, and we also know that Cincinnati is weird enough. You would not be surprised if the Patriots the Bengals beat the Patriots coming up in a couple of weeks. And then you got a stretch where you play Buffalo and Baltimore. You and I both know this. It is one thing to win those games early in the season. It's another thing to win those games Thanksgiving and later. So let's see about the Patriots. I definitely got my questions. There's been a lot of hype around Drake May, a lot of buzz around Drake May. Let's see if you can start to win these games when the weather starts to get cold and just the importance, the game changes once we get to that point. My other question is, are the Colts going to grab the 1 seed? The only way I can take Indianapolis serious in the AFC is if they're the 1 seed. If they play fewer playoff games than everybody else, if you got to go to them to beat them. If you were telling me that Daniel Jones is going outside, no. Think about the other teams right now in the AFC. Think about it. So if the Colts end up not getting the 1 seed, think about all the other possibilities. All these other teams play in cold weather, not fun places to play. Denver, New England, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City. You're trusting Daniel Jones to go on the road in January in these places and win? Nah, no thanks. I just saw what he looked like against that Steelers defense. I want no part of it. The only way I can take the Colts seriously if the Colts end up being the 1 seed in the AFC playoffs.
And when you say seriously, you mean for the Super Bowl? Because
Yes.
I think they could beat a 6 seed or a 7 seed LA team or Denver team or that type of team in round 1 and then be a problem for someone in round 2 but eventually lose. Like, they kind of have should be a wild card. We're going to win their division type of energy, but they are going to win a playoff game, I think. I want to see the matchups, but I would take them over the Jags in a game. So, yeah, I think they're not a Super Bowl contender in that world, but I think they're still a contender in the AFC regardless.
My next question right now about the AFC, was I a little bit too early to count out the Baltimore Ravens? Now, you know I put a bet in on the Ravens to miss the playoffs at plus 260. I'm now looking at it. They won their last 2 games. Now, granted, it was against the Bears and the Dolphins, but if you look at their schedule, I mean, they got a clear stretch here. Minnesota, Cleveland, Jets, Bengals, and then they have a home game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Lamar back. You're starting to get healthy. Is there a little bit of a runway for us to look up and the Ravens find themselves at 500 or possibly better heading into that matchup against the Cincinnati or against the Pittsburgh Steelers? So something to keep an eye on. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen now for the Baltimore Ravens. They got off to an incredibly slow start, but they've won 2 in a row and they got their quarterback back. And history tells you they win about 80% of the regular season games when they got Lamar Jackson under the helm.
Also, this about your bet. Cash out. Get out if there's still plus money to be had, because the runway for the Ravens to make a playoffs is there, especially against a guy I don't believe in the Steelers.
So the next question is actually about the Steelers. This is my question about the Steelers. If the Steelers lose the playoffs, are they still a playoff team? Because right now they are leading their division. They're 5-3, but we've seen plenty of winters where things go completely left for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, that was a good win last week. I mean, it was starting to look kind of shaky for the Steelers. They got off to a 4-1 start. They then lost back-to-back games on the road against Cincinnati. They also lost to Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. Now, they took care of business. Now, they forced about 1 million turnovers against the Indianapolis Colts. It feels like it's go time now. They go on the road on Sunday Night Football and play the Chargers. They got a divisional game against Cincinnati. That team already beat you. You go on the road and play the Bears, which feel like they are the NFC version of this year's Pittsburgh Steelers. If the Steelers don't win the division because the Ravens get hot and get going, are the Steelers going to crash the party of one of those wild card spots, which could be bad news for the Broncos, Chiefs, or the Chargers in the AFC West?
I trust the Steelers more than I trust the Jags, who are right now holding that final playoff spot, but I think the Jags and the Steelers are the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. They're kind of the same. Very flawed football teams. When they play well, could be a thorn in your side, but not really a problem for a team that believes they are Super Bowl caliber.
And the last question is about the Chiefs. Are the Chiefs going to rebound in the second half of this thing? Usually, down the stretch, this is where Kansas City gets going. This is the real version of the Chiefs, the one that we spent all season, all off season, predicting how they were going to be. They finally have that version coming up against the Denver Broncos. You get your left tackle back. You believe Isaiah Pacheco was going to be back. They're healthy basically everywhere else. They just had a bye week. They had time to refresh. When you come back, it's time to go to work if you're the Chiefs. On the road against the Broncos, home game against the Colts, on the road against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. If the Chiefs are that kind of team, if they're truly a contender team, they are going to show us that immediately when they come off their bye, because you play 2 of the other serious contenders right now in the AFC, if you're looking at it through a record perspective, with the Broncos and the Colts. We'll keep talking Chiefs here on The Drive. Keep it locked in right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this.
Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
A blown left headlight is making Erica's drive to her son's soccer game darker and darker. So she goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Where a friendly AutoZoner finds her 2 new bulbs.
These lights have the most clarity.
And helps her get back on the road so she can brighten her drive and the cheering section.
All right, all right.
See clearer and drive safer with new lights. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
A blown left headlight is making Erica's drive to her son's soccer game darker and darker. So she goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Where a friendly AutoZoner finds her 2 new bulbs.
These lights have the most clarity.
And helps her get back on the road so she can brighten her drive and the cheering section.
All right, all right.
See clearer and drive safer with new lights. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Q39 Barbecue. 2-car crash, still working, 435. It's southbound just past 70. Left lane is blocked. You've got a stall 35 northbound just before 7th. Left lane is blocked there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
So we got a news basically confirming what we already knew. Kansas State running back Dylan Edwards is set to enter the transfer portal, sources tell CBS Sports. So we talked about it earlier. You are not taking a red shirt for your junior season if you are a prospect like that. Now, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes at Kansas State. I'm not even here to guess or speculate on what is happening at Kansas State. But you committed to Notre Dame. You then decommitted. You then went to Colorado. It didn't work at Colorado. You transferred to K-State. You played one decent season last year where you sat behind a future NFL back. Heading into your junior year, it was supposed to be your year, have a big season and potentially declare for the NFL draft. That is not the way things have played out this season for Dylan Edwards. That's not the way that things have played out for K-State. And it was clear. If you're making the decision when you already played 4 games, you cannot get back on the field if you're Dylan Edwards. If you get back on the field at K-State, you are burning up your year of eligibility. K-State needs a couple of games to get to a bowl game. So when you made the decision to sit out and redshirt the rest of the year, you were signifying everybody. You are leaving the team. You are done with playing football at K-State. You're about to get healthy, get right, and figure out where your next destination is going to be. The question with me and Dylan Edwards is going to be, is he going to stay at a Power 4 school, or is he going to have to drop down to the group of 5? This just feels like a kid that's just going to a mid-major of some sort next year. He just feels like a kid that's going to Tulane. He feels like a kid that's going to one of those kinds of universities. I'd be a little bit surprised based on at least what feels like is swirling around him and also his production so far. I'd be surprised if he landed at a UCLA, a Tennessee. I'd be surprised if he went to one of those schools next year.
I feel like in the past, we would treat college kids different than pro players, and I still think we largely should. But if there was a pro player who had signed up to play for 4 teams in 3 years, there would be red flags about him. You'd be like, something's iffy. Dylan Edwards has really not stuck anywhere. And now maybe that's every situation just wasn't right for him. Hey, it's all about, perfect moment, whatever. But he committed to Notre Dame. It's not like Notre Dame is some schlubby nothing school. He decommitted. That's fine. Kids decommit all the time. He then went to Colorado. He played at Colorado. He was like a weapon at Colorado. Hey, maybe he didn't get along with Deion. I don't know. Now he's at K-State, played 4 games this season, and now's icing himself down again. Like, if a guy's jumping around that much, it seems like a little bit of a red flag. So if I'm UCLA or Tennessee, am I taking the risk? Let him go dominate at Middle Tennessee State or at Charlotte or something like that.
Then he can always transfer back for a senior year.
Transfer back up, yeah. But I'm not going to be school number 4. I'll take a risk at school number 5.
So I want to talk about this, and I want to be very delicate about this topic just because I understand right now the landscape of the National Football League, and I understand the importance of mental health. But I think this is a conversation that has to be had around Josh Simmons and his return to the team. We all are very happy that Josh Simmons is back for the team. And I don't know exactly what happened with Josh Simmons. I've heard a bunch of different stories. I imagine you have also heard a bunch of different stories and possibilities about what it could have been with Joshua Simmons. But I am going to guess that it is something very serious because you were out of work for the last month. You left the day of a game and were gone for a handful of weeks and not around the team. And I also think it was very clear, at least in the beginning, there was not great communication between your team and the Chiefs about what was happening. I think in light of everything that has happened this week in the National Football League, it has put a very serious spotlight on mental health. And I want to be very, very careful with all of this. I think one of the most important things that the Chiefs can do over the next handful of seasons is create a really, really strong support system around Josh Simmons. And I say that because regardless of what it is with Josh Simmons, I don't know what it is. It could be personal, it could be family, whatever it is. I think we can agree as adults that more serious things are going to happen in your life. That basically adulthood is a series of problem-solving events. This very serious thing happened. How do you respond to it? How do you deal with it? How do you handle adversity? Right when you think everything is good, your transmission goes out. Right when you think that everything is fantastic, your hot water heater goes out. Right when everything is good, you get laid off from your job or your mom is sick. Those things they pop up through the course of adulthood. So I bring that up with Joshua Simmons. Again, understanding that I don't know every single detail of what it is. But what I do know is he is 22 years old. And trust me, between now and whenever he is done playing for the Kansas City Chiefs, something else is going to happen in his life because that's how life works. And one thing the Chiefs can't continue to have is something serious happens in Joshua Simmons' life, and Joshua Simmons is gone for a couple of weeks. I'm not saying it's Joshua Simmons' fault that they lost to the Buffalo Bills. A lot of things went poorly and aided to the Chiefs losing that football game. But, man, he certainly gives them a chance to win that game. And one of the weaknesses that the Chiefs had in that game was Man, their first-round left tackle, who appears to be possibly the best offensive lineman that they have, just didn't play in that game and hasn't been around the team. And I think Jalen Moore is a capable offensive lineman, but he's also not Joshua Simmons. We were talking about Simmons like he had a chance to be a Pro Bowler this year, like he's got a chance to be an All-Pro. He's got a chance to be one of the best left tackles in the National Football League. I don't think right now we are talking about anything physical with Joshua Simmons. We have seen the way that he has acclimated himself to the league. We have seen the way that he has played from day one. So if things don't work out with Joshua Simmons in the league, it is not going to be because he is not capable or talented enough. But right now, it is in the Chiefs' best interest. It is in Joshua Simmons' best interest to put a very serious support staff around him that when things pop up in your life, you are just equipped to be able to handle those things and not possibly feel overwhelmed by whatever it is. That is the best case scenario for the Chiefs to keep him on the field. That is the best case scenario for Joshua Simmons to continue to be a great football player, and he has a chance to make truly generational wealth. Joshua Simmons has a chance in the next 3 years to be the highest paid offensive lineman in the National Football League. He really does. He has a chance to be one of those kind of guys that you set over at left tackle, you feel great about it, and you never have to talk about it or deal with it again if he can stay healthy and stay on the field. But creating that support system, helping you deal with the highs and lows that everybody has to deal with that happens in their life, that has to be priority number one as he is coming back to the team, coming back to his normal routine. And how do you deal with those bumps in the road that inevitably are going to come up? You're 22 years old. You got a lot of life, a lot of NFL career left to go.
I want to phrase this correctly, but I think it's important to note that I think one of the ways it's advantageous for both is that if the communication is good. And by all accounts, recently the communication from the team and Simmons has been much better and good. Because I agree with you. I think one of the reasons this story felt so weird to start is it felt like the Chiefs and Josh Simmons weren't on the same page. Simmons wanted to do X, the Chiefs were unaware X was happening, and it created a problem.
I think it's very safe to deduce that based on how things have played. Just based on, if you were just solely looking at it through the reporting, I think there was a breakdown in miscommunication about Joshua Simmons leaving, and I think this is the case at anybody's job. There is a protocol to follow if you are not going to be at work. So, like, if something happened and I couldn't be here on the show on Monday, I know when I can call out, when I can't call out, how to do it, and what's right. It doesn't sound like that happened, and there was a break in the communication. And you have noticed over the last 10 days how everybody's attitude has changed about it. You were hearing Andy Reid speak about it very differently. You heard Clark Hunt speak about it very differently. So it sounds like everybody is on the same page. Everybody has a plan, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm saying is in 2 years, when something else very serious happens, and now you are feeling some of those same things again, how do we handle this where what just happened, where one of your best players was gone for a month? How do we avoid that happening again in the future?
And that was my exact point. I think one of the things that can help the situation in the future and maybe cause less problems in the future between the team and Simmons is if communication is open and everyone understands everything and we're all on the same page. And it does feel like ever since that beginning where it was kind of hinky, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Clark Hunt, we presume Brett Veach, although he hasn't spoken to the media, we presume, and Josh Simmons are all back on the same page. Simmons is back in Kansas City. He was with the team. Like, we assume that is all on the up and up. And I think as long as they are in communication and all on the same page, I don't have worries about this thing happening in the future. But the fact they lost communication at one point is the thing that you got to keep an eye on.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about Thursday Night Football and the Broncos. I am not a believer. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law, Lee Summit. That is a multi-car crash. 50 westbound just past Chipman Road. 2 right lanes are blocked. And headed into downtown 35 northbound just before 7th. Move to the right. That's a stall blocking the left lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, folks, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. When you buy an engagement ring or fine jewelry gift from Shane Company, you get more than what you paid for. Our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. It covers everything. There's no fine print. You'll get unlimited cleanings, resizings, and repairs. Plus, it even protects your engagement ring's center stone. We stand behind the quality of our jewelry, and that's our gift to you this holiday, peace of mind. Because a friend knows the best things in life are free. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more. And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Looking for a better car buying experience? At Victory Ford, we do things differently. Friendly, knowledgeable people who actually listen. Clear, upfront pricing with no games or gimmicks, and financing that fits your life. Whether you're hunting a rugged truck, a family SUV, or a fuel-smart commuter, our team walks you through every option so you drive away confident. Got a trade? We pay top dollar. No haggling, just a fair, honest offer so your next ride is within reach. Need financing? Our excellent financing specialists work with multiple lenders to get you competitive terms even if your credit isn't perfect. We're easy to get to from anywhere in the city, conveniently located at the Legends in KCK, just off 435 and Parallel Parkway, down the street from the Kansas Speedway and Nebraska Furniture Mart. Stop by, take a test drive, and feel the difference of a dealership that treats you like a neighbor. Visit us today at the Legends in KCK or VictoryFordKC.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFMZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, or also the Odyssey app. Appreciate you listening and making us a part of your Friday. We have a lot to get into. Breaking news right now in college football. Dylan Edwards, the running back at Kansas State, Dylan Edwards has made the decision to transfer. He originally committed to Notre Dame. He then decommitted, went to Colorado, played his freshman year at Colorado, left Colorado, went to K-State, had a good sophomore season at K-State. This year, it has just never really got going. He got hurt in their first game of the season against Iowa State, and he has been hurt or banged up or missed time basically this entire season. He is now going to hit the transfer portal. I asked Rob earlier, would he take Dylan Edwards at KU? He said he wouldn't take him at KU. He asked me about Missouri. Missouri just doesn't need a running back for next year, so I don't really know if he is a fit for them anyway. He just seems like somebody who is probably going to end up maybe having to go down a level, and I use that loosely. If I had to guess, I think he will be at a non-Power 4 school next season. I think he is going to be in a group of 5 school. That doesn't mean you go to a bad school. You can go to a good team. He feels like he's going to a Boise State to me. He feels like he's going to one of those kinds of programs heading into next season. Maybe you ball out, then you can come back to a Power 4 for your senior year. But we're talking about a kid who's never got 100 carries in a season, never really been a workhorse kind of back. It's just been injuries. It's been decommitments. It's been transfers. That is just kind of circled around. One of the top prospects that K-State has been able to pick up over the last couple of seasons. So certainly wish him the best. Certainly hope that everything works out for him. We'll obviously track what happens and we'll let you know where he potentially lands. But Dylan Edwards will not be playing football at Kansas State anymore.
I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. It just feels like, and I don't want to run down the kid, but if you're committing to or have gone to 3-4 schools in 3-4 years, I don't know what Power 5 is signing up for that, because at a certain point, it stops being the situation. You guys start asking, is it a him thing? He couldn't make it work at Colorado. He didn't like how it was working at Notre Dame before he decommitted. He then has now not made it work at Kansas State in a year where presumably he was the starter. I know he had an injury, but he's only played 4 games. He's done. So if you're, pick a Power 5, Texas Tech, if you're Texas A&M, if you're North Carolina, Bill Belichick, are you taking a guy that's been 4 places in 3 years? Or are you saying, okay, go prove it at Middle Tennessee State. Go prove it at Florida Atlantic. Go play at New Mexico. And if you ball out, then we will consider you in the portal in a year. But I don't know that he's made it work anywhere. I don't know that Power 5 schools, or I guess Power 4, are going to sign up for that, because it just seems like it's not working anywhere.
I mean, I certainly think we're going to find out here in the transfer portal, because usually talent wins out. But if I had to guess, I'm guessing that Dylan Edwards goes to like UNLV next season. That just feels like that kind of program just feels like a very logical place that he is potentially going to land. So I think as we start this 5 o'clock hour, I want to play this audio for you guys here, because this kind of, I think, kicked things off, at least in my mind, with this. We have been asking this question about the Broncos, I would say, for the last month. Are you a believer in the Broncos? And I started off at no, and I've been kind of coming around to the Broncos, because it's hard to deny the record. If you keep racking up wins in the National Football League, at some point you got to stand up and pay attention and just, hey, they are putting these wins together. They have been consistent from beginning to end. They are one of the better teams in the National Football League. Watching them yesterday, that was a very disappointing effort against a bad football team, and they've put together a lot of those over the course of the last month. Here is Andrew Mason, who covers the Broncos. He thinks that this team could be the 2022 Vikings.
What I would say for the Broncos is sometimes when you see a lot of these types of results, sometimes I do wonder, is this a little bit like the 2022 Vikings, for example, that they won an awful lot of close games in the regular season as a team that was emerging and then they got into the playoffs. They played the Giants in the first game, and they lost. I mean, is it a team like that, or is it a team that keeps on winning as they get into December and into the postseason? I think that's a question that I'm not sure that we have the answer to right now.
This is one of the times that I'm going to ask you to just simply use your football instincts. You've been watching football 15, 20, maybe more years than that. You've seen a lot of football teams come and go. You've seen a lot of teams start off slow and turn things around. You've seen a lot of teams that were very, very bad, good, whatever it is, everything in the middle. I'm asking you, what do the Broncos look like to you? Not what their record says they are. What do the Broncos look like to you? Because looking at the Broncos and what they have done over the course of the last 6 weeks, basically since they beat Philadelphia, because that Philadelphia win kind of put them on the radar. Philadelphia had been running through the NFL for about a year and a half, and the Broncos went on the road and they beat them. And since then, they've gone on a little bit of a tear. So that was 6 weeks ago that the Broncos beat the Eagles. Since then, they have had a 2-point win against the Jets. They have had a 1-point win against the Giants. They have had a 3-point last-second field goal against the Houston Texans. And they had a 3-point win last night against the Raiders when the Raiders, and I mean this all in all seriousness, played quite possibly the worst game that any team has played this season. It was almost as bad as the game they played against the Chiefs. They threw an interception. They had a punt block. They had 9 penalties. One of those penalties erased the touchdown. They also missed a field goal. The Raiders are one of the 5 worst teams in the National Football League, and the Broncos played one of the sloppiest, worst Thursday night football games that we have seen in quite some time. So on one hand, I do want to give the Broncos credit for winning that game. It's hard to win in the National Football League. It's hard to string wins together in the National Football League. And they have won 7 consecutive games. So congratulations. That's a good win by the Denver Broncos. That is not a Super Bowl contending team. Not the team that I'm looking at right now. That is not a team that I think is capable of navigating 3 straight weeks against other good teams. There is no Vegas in the playoffs. There is no Houston. There are no Giants in the playoffs. Cincinnati is not there. Some of the wins that they have been able to accumulate over the course of the season, you got to beat teams like Indianapolis. And starting off as slow as the Broncos have, pretty routinely over the last month or so, that gets you beat against good teams. It got them beat when they played Indianapolis earlier this season, starting off slow against Kansas City or the Chargers or Buffalo or any of these other teams that you think are capable playoff teams, that's what gets you beat. I just feel like we've seen this formula before from teams that rack up a lot of wins against non-playoff teams, and then when they go up against actual good teams, they fall short. So I'm watching this Broncos team, and we'll get into how important next week is against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just not a believer. That's it. I'm just not a believer in this Denver Broncos team. At this point, we are starting to separate who we think is real and who we think is fake. Who do we think are contenders or pretenders? Are the Broncos going to make the playoffs? Sure. They're going to win 11 or 12 games this season. Are they a team, the way they are currently playing, can I see them beating Buffalo, Kansas City, New England, one of those teams, and doing that in back-to-back or 3 straight weeks and going to the Super Bowl? Not with the way their offense is playing. They're out for me in terms of being a contender. They are not in my circle of trust.
Now, let me ask you a question, and the text line brings this question up, and we talked about it earlier in the show as well. Is it fair to compare this Broncos team to last year's Chiefs team? Because someone on the text line points this out. Hey, guys, the Chiefs last year beat the Panthers by 3. They beat the lowly Raiders by 2. And they got it done, and they went all the way to the Super Bowl before they eventually got smoked. It seems a little unfair that you are bashing the Broncos for doing the same thing. Because the Broncos are undefeated in one-score games. And rewind the clock 12 months ago, Chiefs fans were gloating about being undefeated in one-score games. So what is the difference in this year's Broncos, who are doing a good job in one-score games, but we believe it's all fake, smoke and mirrors, not real, fraudulent, versus last year's Chiefs team, which was undefeated in one-score games, but we were saying that's just what champions do. That's just what winners do. It doesn't matter. There's no BCS. The score doesn't matter. Just win. Why are the two entities so different to you?
Well, I mean, I think you have to factor in track record, right? Like, we do this in other sports. Like, we don't evaluate Kansas basketball and Missouri basketball the same. Like, there is more of a burden of proof that a program like Missouri has to go through than someone like Kansas. So I guess, first off, the Chiefs have a 7-year track record of doing this. The Broncos have a 1.5-year track record of doing it with this quarterback. Last year, when they went to the postseason, where they built up another schedule off beating up bad teams in the National Football League, they got smoked in the first round of the playoffs last season when that happened. So far this year, the biggest difference, at least to me, it comes down to, do you believe in Bo Nix? I believe in almost everything else the Broncos have. I think they're a good run team. I like their weapons on offense. I think they have maybe the best defense in the league. But right now, their quarterback, he is 29th in the NFL in completion percent. He's 29th among qualified starters. He is 29th in yards per attempt. He is 28th in quarterback rating. Their quarterback is playing poorly. He's playing bad this year. And we all know at some point, you cannot spot a good team 17 points heading into the fourth quarter and expect to score 33 points where they did against these teams. I mean, they're not even scoring against the bad teams. Rob, they scored 13 points against the Jets and 10 points against the Raiders. These are bad football teams. I'm telling you right now, 13 points ain't beating the Chiefs on next Sunday. 10 points ain't beating the Chiefs that they just scored against the Raiders at home. So some of it is, I just don't trust their offense consistently enough to score, because I don't care how good your defense is. When you go up against good teams and good quarterbacks, I mean, look at Indianapolis. Indianapolis scored 29 points against them. You got a top 5 offense coming into town that's going to be, we believe, completely healthy. So are the Broncos planning on beating the Chiefs 13-10? Because if you think it's going to be a normal 27-24 football game, Bo Nix just hasn't played well enough to believe that he can do that consistently for me right now.
I actually feel the exact same. And the reason I brought that question up is because I would say all the things on paper look similar. There's one major difference. We were of the belief last year, if needed in the postseason, Patrick Mahomes could put his Superman cape on and elevate what was a bad Chiefs offense last year.
But to be fair, though, and this is, I would say, one of the criticisms that people have about our show, it's not like last year you and I were selling that everything was good and fine and dandy with the Kansas City Chiefs.
We might be the only people
saying
that.
We were one of the few people that were like, hey, something's off with this team. Oh, shut up. They keep winning. No one cares. This isn't the BCS. This isn't. But, like, we were watching them. You could see it. You could feel it with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs ended up figuring it out, and they ended up proving it. I'm saying is, we've seen this Broncos team before. I can give you at least 5 examples of this team. You remember a couple of years ago when the Chiefs started 9-0, and you were like, hold on, wait, like, they're getting special teams touchdowns, and they're beating up on. Remember they played like Jeff Toole one day? I was like, well, hold on, like, you're not beating anybody. And then eventually, you remember, the Chiefs that season, I believe they played the Broncos. The Broncos were 8-1. The Chiefs went on the road and played the Broncos, and the Broncos showed you what a real good team looks like. The Chiefs then faded down the stretch and did what mediocre teams do. The 2022 Minnesota Vikings, the Pittsburgh Steelers from a couple ago. Remember when Pittsburgh was the last undefeated team? I think this was the COVID season. They got off to a really, really good start. I think they lost. It was like a Tuesday weird game against the Commanders. And then the Steelers fell apart the second half of the season. So I'm with you. You can hide behind their record is their record. And that's something you can't really argue. I cannot argue that right now the Broncos have the best record in the NFL. You can't dispute it. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. But you and I watch the National Football League. We follow it. The people listening, you watch the NFL. You follow it. Do you feel like the Broncos are good? Do you feel like the Broncos could navigate a postseason where they got to beat Indianapolis, Kansas City, and Buffalo in 3 straight weeks, not with the way their offense is playing? I don't believe it. If you believe it, that's perfectly fine. I do not believe in the Denver Broncos. I feel like it is fake, and I feel like their house of cards is going to come crumbling at any time if Bo Nix doesn't start playing a lot better than how he is right now.
Bo Nix is the thing we need to talk about, because he is not only is he playing poorly, I don't think he played competent football last night. And there is absolutely no reason to believe a team with that quarterback that I saw last night can beat you in the postseason. And honestly, and this is an impossible question for you to answer, I don't understand how he's this bad. He was good last year. Not great, Not exceptional, not, a franchise quarterback elevates the pieces around him. He was good. He was a good rookie quarterback, and the thought was he can maybe take a step forward. Not only has he not taken that step forward, he's taking like 3 steps backwards. Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winning offensive-minded coach. Their weapons are good. I know Chiefs fans are going to say, well, the Chiefs' weapons are better, and that's fine. Weapons. The Broncos' weapons are
not great,
good.
but they got good weapons for sure.
You should not be looking like that at quarterback. What has happened to Bo Nix? I know that, I got my jokes off about his age, but outside of the fact that he's a geriatric, there is nothing about his NFL career that makes you think he should be in full-on reverse the way he is this year. He's bad.
I mean, just to tell you right now, this is a stat. Yesterday, Thursday Night Football, that was the 6th game in Bo Nix's career that the Broncos won, and he had a passer rating below 70. Like, that's bad quarterback play. There's no other way to put it. If your passer rating is 68.2, you played poorly in the game. They won 6 times that way. You can play that way against the Jets. You can play that way against the Raiders. You cannot do that. If Bo Nix has a passer rating below 70 on Sunday against the Chiefs, they lose the game against the Chiefs. It's really that simple. Hit it, Rob. Let's get to the hits.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Carrington as always hits are brought to you by Baker University. Makes your next era orange at Baker University, the first university in Kansas and ranked number 1 in return on investment among private universities in Kansas. Baker University, forever in our orange era. Carrington, I write the hits, so hit number 1 will be the most important thing happening in this city, and that's in about 42 minutes. A transcendent, a special, a superstar in the making is going to play basketball. Bill Simmons, what do you think of Darren Peterson?
The Kansas kid might be the best guard prospect since Vince Carter, or even go back to Kobe. Like, that's potentially how good he is, Peterson.
Carrington, we are 40-plus minutes away from seeing the greatest college basketball freshman this year. Not AJ DeBansta, not Cameron Boozer, not Koa Pete. Who cares? Darren Peterson plays basketball in 40 minutes. And a year ago, Bill Simmons was waxing poetically like this about Cooper Flagg. And all I heard from you was, hey, man, if Simmons and Rosillo think this kid might be special, this kid might be something else, da-da-da. He's waxing more poetically about Darren Peterson, and all I'm getting from you is sighs and hate. Talk about the greatness. Talk about Darren Peterson.
I am excited to see Darren Peterson play against a legitimate team today. You are right. There are 3 college players that we believe are up for the number 1 overall pick. Darren Peterson is one of them. You mentioned A.J. DeBansta and Cameron Boozer. You guys remember Carlos Boozer. He has twins. One of his kids really, really good at basketball, and he has a chance of being the number 1 overall pick. Now, the beautiful thing about this is KU has both of those teams on their schedule this year. BYU is in the conference, so we'll get a chance to see DeBansta go up against Darren Peterson, go up against KU. We also get a chance to see Duke go up against KU. They play each other, I believe, in a couple of weeks in the Champions Classic. Now, this feels like very lofty expectations. And you and I follow basketball. There's been a lot of great guard prospects since Kobe Bryant, who entered the NBA in 1996. So are we saying that we think that Darren Peterson is the best guard prospect of the 21st century? Because that's what Bill Simmons just said. So we think he's a better prospect than John Wall. He's a better prospect than Kyrie Irving. I'm not talking what these guys turned out to be. Rob, you were around when Kyrie Irving was at Duke, and you remember how good of a player he was. You remember when John Wall was at Kentucky. We can go up and down the list for some great guard prospects. If that's what we're saying, cool. I'm not going to make it see. I've seen Darren Peterson play 2 times in my life. I watched him play 1 time in person, and I watched him play the first half of that game against Green Bay. I will be watching every dribble today against a legitimate tournament team in North Carolina. So let's see. Let's see what he looks like. We got enough examples, enough games, enough great prospects that he's going up against that I want to see him prove this on the court.
Number 2.
Let's get back to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, who looked very stinky last night. Carrington,
I actually want to give you a stat. Can I give you a stat?
I was going to say,
number
give me some
two
stats.
All right, let me give you a stat because I saw this, and this came from Aaron Schatz. He is with Football Outsiders. It goes to show you the monumental difference in winning this game and losing this game from both teams' perspective next week, Chiefs and Broncos. So this is from Football Outsiders. They're like Pro Football Focus, the math, analytics of football. If the Broncos win the game, it gives them an 82% chance of winning the AFC West. And it gives Kansas City a 9% chance of winning the division. The Chargers also have a small percentage chance of winning it as well. If the Chiefs win next week, it would give Kansas City a 51% chance of winning the division. And it gives Denver a 37% chance. I mean, we are talking about, at least from a Kansas City perspective, a 51% or a 9% chance of winning the division. Everything I've said about the Broncos, if they beat the Chiefs in a position in which the Chiefs, they just don't lose these games. We can find examples of team beating the Chiefs over the last few years or so, right? They have not been undefeated. You will be very, very hard-pressed to find an example of the Chiefs losing a regular season game that they, A, desperately needed, and are going into it after a bye week and or relatively healthy. The Chiefs are going to have their left tackle back. You get more time for Isaiah Pacheco to get back, more time for Trey Smith to get back. There is not any noticeable injury on defense that we are talking about, and you just had a bye week. You were talking about all Andy Reid has been sitting in his beautiful, I'm assuming he lives in Kansas, home, and watching film and studying and looking at his team and the Broncos and watching old 1947 college football games to figure out some play or some advantage that they can have. If the Chiefs lose that game in that scenario next week to the Broncos, then I'm telling you in 2 weeks, it will not be a fun show to listen to, because we will have very serious conversations about the way that this team was built and are they making the playoffs. Because if you are 5-5 heading into week 12, there's nothing that is guaranteed for you. You have probably lost the division, and now you find yourself in a very, very serious wild card race. Or if the Chiefs win that game, then to me, the king stay the king. You roll that game into a home game against Indianapolis, in which I will 100% pick Kansas City, and now you feel like you got your mojo back. You got your swagger back. To me, that's what this game next week represents to me for the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you still have your swagger? Are you still the cream of the crop in the division? Because the Chiefs have either been that or been near the top of that conversation now, basically every day since Patrick Mahomes has been the starting quarterback. Since the San Francisco 49ers game, what was that, start number 3 for Patrick Mahomes way back in 2018, the Chiefs have either been the best team or contending to be the best team in the AFC every single day since then. If they lose next Sunday to the Broncos, that streak ends. And you are, for the first time, we have never talked about the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes as a wild card team. That's what they are. The division dream is over. They're not winning 10 in a row. That's done. And now we need to talk about what they need to do to make the playoffs and hope that you are playing with enough momentum that you can really be dangerous once it comes to the postseason. So I understand that it's not the most important regular season game in the history of things, but for a week 11, week 12, whatever week it is, you do not have a much more important regular season game than next week Chiefs and Broncos in terms of what it means and what it represents for both of these teams. Keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, let me tell you guys about our friends over at The Other Place. So right now, you might not be able to get all the games at your house, but you know who's got all the games? Our friend over at The Other Place. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch Kansas, North Carolina, if you're looking for a place to watch college football this weekend, if you're looking for a place to watch the pros, all while having some great game day specials and great beer specials, then stop by and see our friends over at The Other Place with 5 locations around town. If you're looking for a great game day atmosphere, a place to catch all the games, they make some of the best pizza in town. They've been doing that for 25 years, and your home for football and all things sports. Go see our friends over at The Other Place.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for Mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is gonna be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Well, we're in the heart of football season, and the players, they got to be on their game and at peak performance and ready to go when it matters most to try and get a win on Sunday, Saturday, whatever time of the week they play. You also have to be ready and confident where it counts. I'm talking about Blue Chew, a small chew for a big difference. Day and nights just got longer and better for everyone because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. It'll have you feeling fantastic. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance. Confident where it counts. Give her group chat something to talk about because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com and get your first month free. BlueChew.com and get your first month free. A small chew for a big difference. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Crash, let's see, North KC 635 northbound, just before Horizons Parkway. It is the right lane blocked. Also, the multi-car crash down south near Lee Summit, still working, 50 westbound. It is past Chipman in the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, coming up in just a bit, we'll talk about the ongoing issue right now between YouTube, TV, ESPN, Google. The companies are fighting. Rob, I made a list of the two Chiefs that I'm going to put a second half spotlight on. That if the Chiefs are going to rebound, so to speak, win the AFC West, get going in the second half of the season, a couple of guys that I would like to see more from in the second half of the season. The first player for me is going to be on the defensive side in Charles Omenihu. The defensive line should have taken the result of the game, I think, more personally than everybody else. Josh Allen dropped back 26 times and completed 23 of his passes against this Kansas City defense. That is an indictment on everybody. That is an indictment on Spags. That's an indictment on that defensive line, that linebacker room, those corners. Everybody should feel a way about it if you were them. The person that I'm looking at, man, I'm looking at Charles Omenihu, man. This was supposed to be a big-time season from Charles Omenihu. He was a guy who chose to come back to Kansas City on a one-year deal and prove it. Because the first couple of seasons, it was clouded by something. The first year, you remember, he was suspended because of an off-the-field incident when he was still playing with San Francisco, so he didn't get a chance to play a full 17 games. And then he tore his ACL toward the end of that first year, came back pretty late in the season, so I understand why it wasn't a banner year. So I get it. You're under 30. Let's go back to a defense that I know. I love this locker room. I love Spags. I know I can have some success. And look, I just saw Tershawn Wharton, who played in this system, played in this scheme, put together a big-time year, and then left and got paid. That's what I want to do. He goes back to the Chiefs, and so far this season, he hasn't done anything. He has 2 sacks so far this season. So if I'm looking at somebody on that defensive line that I think needs to play better, needs to step up, I think it needs to be Charles Omenihu. I don't think we spend enough time talking about this because the anticipation was that they were going to be able to make another one, so to speak. Like, Wharton was really, really good last season, but you take those sacks and that pressure out of it, somebody has to step up and do it. I mean, it's not Mike Dana. He has 1 sack so far this season. Chris Jones, you're paying Chris Jones a lot of money. He has 2 sacks so far this season. Same thing with Charles Omenihu and only having 2 sacks. So to me, on the defensive line, if I can pinpoint one guy, I need more from you in the final 8 games of the season. I'm looking at Charles Omenihu.
Can't whenever you say this Omenihu be applied to everyone on the defensive line?
100%.
Like, I know we're doing you.
I mean, Karlaftis is not having a bad season. Karlaftis isn't having a great season. He has not taken that leap forward season. But if you got 5 sacks through the first 9 games, if George Karlaftis ends the year with 10.5 sacks, I'm not going to be super down on George Karlaftis. Is he Max Crosby? No. And the contract kind of insinuates that they think he can be that. But Karlaftis is not their problem when it comes to the pass rush. The fact that George Karlaftis has as many sacks as Omenihu, Chris Jones, and Mike Dana combined, that's the problem with the defensive line.
I'm going to say Karlaftis gets a slight pass, but everything you just said about Charles Omenihu, I know you're highlighting just 2 Chiefs. We could cut the name and we could slap the name, Mike Dana on there. We could cut the name and slap the name Chris Jones on there. Like, there are a lot of players in that D-line, and Karlaftis is not totally immune to this, who have been a disappointment for the Chiefs. A D-line that we thought was going to be one of the best in football. Like, I remember preseason we were talking about, oh, man, are they going to have to, they could have Spags aggression plus this front 4? They could be a real problem for people. Well, the problem has been they've been blocked by everyone. So Omenihu's a good answer, and I'm looking forward to who number 2 is. But I think everyone on the D-line should fall under Omenihu's umbrella of we need to see more in the second half.
So that's my take on the the defensive side of things. On the offensive side of things, I don't think it's been because I don't think this player is capable, but I want to see them get a little bit more out of Brashard Smith than they've gotten so far this season. I mean, in terms of giving him carries, I mean, he hasn't done much with it. He has 28 carries so far in the first 9 games. 14 of them happened in the Raiders game, in which they were just smoking them. They were basically running their second team for the entire second half, and Brashard Smith was able to get some carries. He's averaging 2.9 yards per carry, so he just hasn't been super effective running the football this year, but just throwing it to him a little bit more out of the backfield. He was kind of sold to me as a player that they were going to use in that Samaje Perine, Jerick McKinnon, throw it to him out of the backfield kind of way. I mean, so far in the first 9 games, he has 125 yards receiving. So a big second half of the season, what if you can end up getting Brashard Smith to 400 yards receiving? That's a big second half from him. And if you're not going to run the ball super effectively, then you got to try to manufacture those yards from somewhere else, using the short passing game, use the screen game, using jet sweeps, end around, pop passes, using those things to kind of supplement the fact that you are not a great rushing team, and getting him more involved in the rush offense, I don't think can be a really bad thing. I just don't think that there is really a high ceiling for the rest of their run game if we're talking about giving more carries to Isaiah Pacheco or Kareem Hunt. Now, if you're talking about adding Rashee Rice to the run game, sure. You're talking about Xavier Worthy to the run game, who has 7 carries so far, or using Rice more like a Deebo Samuel type and giving him, 30, 35 carries between now and the end of the season, sure, I'm fine with you doing that. But more Isaiah Pacheco is not the key. More Kareem Hunt is not the key. A little bit more Brashard Smith and mix it in with some of those other options could open up the run game a little bit.
Here's my question, or here's my thought, because it was Isaiah Pacheco's rookie year. You'll remember he was not the starting running back for the season. I believe it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the time. And fans were saying, more Pacheco, more Pacheco, more Pacheco. They need more juice in this run game. Give it to Pacheco, give it to Pacheco. It was around week 8, week 9, where Eric Bieniemy said, take a grown man's job, and Isaiah Pacheco took the job. They kind of slow played it. They waited. They integrated him into the offense slowly, and then he became ipso facto running back 1. The Chiefs go on and win the Super Bowl, the whole deal. If Brashard Smith after the bye can't supplant Clyde Edwards-Helaire, can't supplant Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco when he comes back healthy, I don't know he's going to be the guy you think you want him to be in 2025, because it was this time where they made the switch in the past with the rookie, and they're always big about, the offense takes time, you got to learn pass blocking, blah, 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 blah. If Brashard Smith isn't going to learn it and be that guy now, is he ever going to be that guy in 2025? Like, I'm not saying he's not a weapon. I'm not saying he doesn't have a role, but I don't know that role is, hey, we're going to get him the ball more because he's really shown something. If he can't supplant these guys after the bye, I don't know he is supplanting them.
I don't want Clyde Edwards-Helaire to be on the field again at any point before week 18. Maybe the Chiefs don't need week 18. That's kind of been a theme. It's like a 50-50 proposition. Sometimes they need it, sometimes they don't. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire is on the field before week 18, something went wrong in a lot of different ways. I don't care who you give the carries to. Just don't give them to him. Give them to Carson Steele. Give them to Elijah Mitchell. I don't care who it is. Please do not give Clyde Edwards-Helaire the ball. He was on the field for 2 snaps. They gave him the ball. I'm not even saying it was all his fault, but it doesn't inspire any confidence from me. Whatever you think the problem is with the run game, I assure you that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not the solution for your run game. He wasn't the solution in 2019, 2020, 2021. He will certainly not be the solution to the run game in 2025.
But let me ask you this. If he's getting more carries in an important game,
I don't want him to get carries at all.
I know you don't, but why are the Chiefs giving him those carries?
They're lost.
Doesn't that say something about Brashard Smith, though? Either Brashard Smith is way behind the curve, or
I'd rather them give the carries to Dean Smith. Give them to.
It makes no sense Clyde Edwards-Helaire got those carries over Brashard Smith.
Doesn't make any sense.
That has to mean something about Brashard Smith, though, right? Like, he's behind the curve, doesn't know the offense. It's possible that we've been talking up a 7th-round running back when, in fact, he's just a 7th-round running back. Not all 7th-round running backs become a thing. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the street in a game against the Bills, which we both agree is an important game, this wasn't, the 3rd preseason game. This was the Bills game. If they gave him more carries than Brashard Smith, that screams alarm bells about Brashard Smith or how they feel about Brashard Smith. Me and you agree, this ain't Madden. Andy Reid's seeing something that makes him get the ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who is 2 yards and fall down before Brashard Smith.
Well, I'm guessing that his job gives him great benefits. I know it's open and roll for a lot of people around the country. I would tell Andy Reid, if he's seeing something with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we got to get him some new glasses. We got to give him something. I don't know what he is seeing. I want to read this to you guys very quickly. This is a YouTube TV. They have released a statement that calls out Disney. Quote, once again, Disney is resorting to their old tactics like leaking documents to the press, negotiating in public through their paid talent, and misrepresenting the facts, including from the deals they've offered and taking credit for our product proposals. Our team stands ready to make a fair agreement in line with their deals with other distributors, and we encourage Disney to come to the table and do what's best for our mutual customers. I'm telling you right now, I don't care whose fault it is. So don't text in, oh, well, it's Disney's fault. I don't care. All I know is fix it. That's all I care. It's like 2 kids fighting in the back seat. I don't care whose fault it is. All I'm telling you is I want you two to get along because we got a long car ride to go. Apologize to your brother. Zip it up. You apologize to your brother. Shake his hand, give him a hug, love each other. I don't care what you got to do, but be better. That's how I feel about YouTube TV and ESPN. And I imagine a lot of people feel probably the way that I feel. If this thing keeps going on, I am leaving YouTube TV, and I'm not sure if they ever get me back. It continues to get more expensive. I feel like once every 6 months, we get hit over the head with some price increase, or you could potentially lose this channel. I'm about it at my end. I only care about 8 channels anyway that you have. You are not the only television provider that's out there. So if you don't fix this thing very quickly, there is a portion of people that have YouTube TV that are going to leave YouTube TV. I got multiple TVs in my apartment. I don't need your multi-view. I mean, it's cool to have, but trust me, I can live without your multi-view. Please fix this YouTube TV. Coming up on the other side, we'll get you ready for an exciting weekend in college football and the NFL. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, let me tell you guys about our friends over at The Other Place. So right now, you might not be able to get all the games at your house, but you know who's got all the games? Our friend over at The Other Place. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch Kansas, North Carolina, if you're looking for a place to watch college football this weekend, if you're looking for a place to watch the pros, all while having some great game day specials and great beer specials, then stop by and see our friends over at The Other Place with 5 locations around town. If you're looking for a great game day atmosphere, a place to catch all the games, they make some of the best pizza in town. They've been doing that for 25 years. And your home for football and all things sports, go see our friends over at The Other Place.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets the Duralast battery.
have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you'd find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses. Plus, an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets the Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We've got the crash in Lee Summit 50 westbound as you approach 470. Right lane is blocked. And then Kansas side of things, that stall K7 northbound as you approach 83rd. Be prepared to tap your brakes. That's off to the left shoulder. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Juju Smith-Schuster from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, Rob, there are 4 college football games of note, I would say, on Saturday. BYU against Texas Tech. Now, some of you are going to be able to watch this game with no problems. Some of us are going to have to treat this like it's a UFC pay-per-view or it's Mayweather-McGregor and you got to hook the computer up or you got to get a VPN and use a website. Bro, it's too much. You know, it's too much. I pay too much for the internet, too much for YouTube TV. You know what I want to do? I just want to sit down and I just want to watch the game in 1080p. Is that too much to ask? Why do I got to do all this back and forth nonsense with you guys? It's neither here nor there. BYU against Tech. Now, Rob, you are a resident Big 12 expert. That's what you are. Texas Tech is an 11.5-point favorite in this game. Vegas is telling you that they think that BYU is about to get the beats put on them. Do you agree?
I agree with Vegas. I think part of it is BYU's a little bit smoke and mirrorsy. Like last year around this time, BYU was also undefeated. We know how the story unfolded. They had gotten some luck, some things broke their way, and then everything stopped breaking their way. They finished 9-3. No disrespect to a 9-3 season for BYU, but it's different than being in the college football playoff. Fast forward, a year later, it feels very similar to BYU. And Texas Tech, with their quarterback healthy, feels like the type of team that can really be a problem for BYU. It's an 11 a.m. game. That defense is incredible. And now their quarterback is back. And the atmosphere in Lubbock is going to be second to none. Fans have been camping out. Patrick Mahomes is there. It's going to be game day. They're doing the picks. They're wearing special Adidas Mahomes jerseys. This just has all the makings of Texas Tech runs away from BYU. And in the next rankings we get, which might be next week, might be in 2 weeks, whenever they do these rankings, you're going to be like, oh, is Tech getting a bye? That's what they're going to show people on Saturday.
So we have BYU and Texas Tech. That's the big game in the Big 12. Texas A&M goes on the road and plays Missouri. I mean, I would love to come on here and sell to you guys how I think Missouri is ready to shock the world. Their offense has not been good in SEC play. They are starting a true freshman quarterback against one of the top 8 teams in college football. I ain't hopeful. I ain't optimistic. Now, I know it happened under unfortunate circumstances, but I'm excited for Matt Zollers. We're talking about one of the better pro-style quarterbacks And we're talking about a team that they're not making the playoff this year. So giving him lengthy experience and finding out if he can be their starting quarterback next season is valuable information to pick up if you're the University of Missouri. So I'm not mad at Matt Zollers getting the opportunity. I just don't think they're beating Texas A&M, not with their offense, not with the true freshman quarterback. Another question I have is Oregon on the road against Iowa. This feels like a spot to me. Oregon coming to a new place in the middle of November. The weather's not going to be great. It's Iowa. You don't know them as well. You know that Iowa likes to muddy it up and slow things down and make it a rock fight. You know that crowd is going to be raucous. You've got a young, inexperienced quarterback in Dante Moore. I don't know, man. I think that this has prime field storming potential in Iowa.
I think all those things, so I largely agree with you. Also, is Oregon a little more name than game? I mean, look at their wins this year. Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State. Penn State looked good at the time. That's not a good win. Rutgers, Wisconsin. What about that schedule of wins jumps out of, Oregon's been one of those teams. They don't have a wow win on their schedule. Now, I don't know that Iowa outright beats them, but this is a spot where a team that's a little more salty than your Rutgers or Wisconsin could give Oregon some problems in the snow, in the muck up in Iowa, sellout crowd. I think the Hawkeyes plus the points is a very smart play if you're using FanDuel tomorrow.
One of the last games that we'll talk about this is LSU on the road against Alabama. This doesn't really factor into the playoff aside from Alabama obviously needs to keep winning to potentially win the SEC and keep up. But this used to be the game, did it not? LSU Alabama used to be, remember they would move it to the 7 p.m. on CBS under the lights. Everybody who is everybody in college football used to be there. And now BYU Texas Tech is a bigger game this Saturday in the sport. We lost recipes, Rob. We lost recipes.
I mean, let's put the fault at one person's feet. Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly caused this problem. This game was supposed to be big. It's not. It's not big at all.
We had a lot of fun this week. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun as well. You know what I want you to do? I want you to enjoy some nice fall activities is what I want you to do. Go out, spend a little time with the ladies, spend some time with some kids. You don't got ESPN or ABC right now anyway, so what else are you going to be doing? Have a great weekend with the Chiefs bye week, and we'll catch you guys next week as we get you ready for Chiefs and Broncos. Until then, I'll let Daniel Craig take you home.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by